Well, hello, hello. Welcome to your entertainment for today. This is your friendly neighborhood coast to coast podcast with JPJ and Auntie Collins.
Hi.
Also,
The
our
dogs.
executive producers, Penny Lane and Archer Luis Martinez here. So,
You love to see it.
welcome.
You love to see
Hi.
it. The whole cavalry is here today.
Can I tell you, every one of my friends has either had some sort of pet thing happen
hmm
or their pets have passed away this week.
I know. Yeah. Shout out to Jose. We love you, Jose.
Yeah,
I
shout out
know.
to Jose.
Yeah. We love Jose.
For some reason,
Yeah. Go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say the way that he wrote his post, I thought that both of his dogs had passed, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
I,
That's
I
awful.
can't handle this. I can't handle
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's only one, but that was his baby.
I know. Yeah.
But
Unfortunate. It happened we did his last episode with me for Dynamite Up on Wednesday, and he was saying that
mhm,
the dog was having a rough, like the dog had been going through some stuff, but I don't think he was expecting what happened to happen. So,
yeah,
but that was his baby, and I know that he loved all his pets, but he loved that dog. So, yeah, shout out to him and anybody that has pets. Hug your
mhm,
pets, take care of your
yes.
pets. Yeah,
I had a little episode with my dog Archer.
I saw that. I had to go to the
Lucy,
vet.
yes. He got up from his nap while I was working in the office because I get to bring my dogs to the office.
hmm
And he was just, like, walking sideways and wouldn't put any weight on his, like, foot
Oh, it's one of
and
his legs, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And so I'm thinking because that was similar to what happened with Penny last year because she got diagnosed with vestibular disease, which is like an inner ear disease.
hmm
It just happens. They mentioned that she might have had, like, a stroke-like episode or, like an episode neurologically that kinda, like,
Mm.
mess things up, but it happens a lot in pugs. Pugs, have the
Pugs, yeah.
tilt in their head, but, so I was just worried that it was gonna be like something neurological,
hmm
because the last couple days, I made a comment about it. My dog was barking so much that he should have his own podcast.
I did. Yes.
I thought it was so funny, but then it realized he's not usually a barking dog, like, he'll bark during the streams and whatever, but he would just not stop barking,
So he was trying to
and
tell you, like, hey, something's messed up.
yeah, I think I should have figured that out, but I just thought it was the upstairs neighbors to be to be
They're still there.
honest.
They're
They're
not out
still
yet.
there.
Wow, damn.
There's not been as much noise, but one of them at least still lives there.
Okay.
So,
You think maybe he made a deal? He said, "Hey, it's this other asshole. I'll get him out of here, and I'll be more respectful and stay."
honestly, that would make sense.
Right. Right.
But yes,
Yeah.
hug your babies. I just had someone that I worked with at SakuraCon. I literally saw them animal that weekend
hmm
and they had passed, which
It's
is like
unfortunate.
that is sudden, it's unexpected, when you're not expecting things like that to happen, it's really sad. But yeah, if you have babies, hug your and kiss your babies. Saying
hmm
hello to everyone in the chat. I saw that Clown's in here. Clown, I'm gonna upload my receipt because you told me to donate my $5. Um,
Fair.
and honestly, I love that. I love that. But
100%.
last week we were not live, but I did tell you if you watch the whole thing, put in the put in the comments you owe me $5.
Yeah.
And I don't give you $5, but I did donate $5 over here to the Lavender Rights Project. Well, I donated more than $5. But the Lavender Rights Project helps queer and trans people of color in my area be able to get housing and jobs
Nice. Good.
and mental health services. So,
Love it. That's great.
but seeing my friend Carl here in the chat saying hello, and Scott over here saying good morning and afternoon. Remember, if you guys
Scott.
have questions, go ahead and send those super chats over to us. You help keep the lights on. Uh, So we really appreciate that, y'all. But JPJ, how was your week?
It was good. I've had the last 10 to 11 approaching 2 weeks of shoot job has been a pure hell. We had a couple people go down unexpectedly, sickness, family stuff. So you know how it works in retail. If nobody can fill the gaps, it's this guy and the guy who runs the store that fills the gaps.
Yeah.
So I've been working my ass off, which listen, it's what you sign up for. And it happens. It's a few and far between, but yeah. So that side of it has been a little hectic. I haven't really I feel like today's my first real day off in like the last 2 weeks. It's fine. We're okay. I have a short week next week. It's WrestleMania, so I take that shit off. And then a couple weeks from now is my B-Day. And I work for a company who gives you your B-Day paid off, bro.
Ooh.
So, my birthday falls on a Saturday this year. So I'm like, I'll take a weekend off. You can kiss my
Okay,
see ya. Enjoy this weekend and the first weekend of May. You're gonna get fucking pummeled. I'm gonna be somewhere, not here.
Yeah.
Jamie Perio, yes, our friends.
2 a.m.
Australia.
Yeah, I always forget that. Other side of the world.
He should be going to bed so he wakes up in a few hours to watch Dynasty. Whereas Dynasty's going to be getting over at fucking 2 a.m. tonight, and I got to go to work at 5. Sunday pay-per-view start. I don't care. You want to do a Sunday pay-per-view? Fine. Why is it starting at 8 p.m. Eastern time? It
doesn't start for 8 p.m. for me.
That is outrageous. 8 p.m. on a Sunday when you're going at least 5 hours. Outrageous. Anyway.
I agree. I really liked.
I'm looking forward to talking about it. It's going to be a great show, but like, what the heck? You can't start at 6, bro? You can't start at 6.
Well, they did such a great job with, so I'm wearing my y'all in shirt, y'all.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, it is big shirt, little pants season for me, or like sweatshirt, little pants, because I am more of like a shorts kind of person, like all year long, if I could be, which I guess is psychotic. I'm not sure, but I love a little pant, big top. But the only size that they had when I went to All In was a 4 or a 5X or an extra small.
Damn.
And I was okay.
What was that?
Outside, someone outside. I can't wait till I fucking move.
Is your window shut? They don't want that chemicals coming in. Whatever that was. Whatever.
My window is cracked open at the moment.
You better shut that. You're gonna be coughing by the end of this episode. Whatever. That didn't sound like a normal cough. That was from the depths.
That did not.
That was from the depths. Is he smoking out there? That could be that.
Yeah, probably. Okay. But for y'all that don't know, I went to AEW All In, and I got in line for merch at 11:30 a.m. Okay.
So you got to your seat at 4:45 p.m.
I got to my seat by the time the pay-per-view started.
Yeah. 3.
So all the pre-show like stuff, like everybody grabbed their snacks and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was in line for 2 hours waiting for merch because it wrapped all the way around. There were only 2 merch stations in the entire, like
80,000 people.
Right. Globe Life Field is so fucking big and you only had like 2 merch stations.
Yeah.
Anyways, so by the time I got like 5 people from the front, they were like passing like what was still in stock. And the jersey was not in stock. And that is the only thing that I wanted. I wanted that motherfucking jersey.
Yeah.
And so
I was going to go ahead. No, you finish your story.
They had this shirt and they had like a different All In shirt. And I had multiple people to purchase things for who had already Venmo'd me their $30. So I was like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to get. Fortunately, there were other merch items that were available, but this was the only shirt for me that interested me. Because like
Yeah.
I love a like commemorative on the back. It says, I was at, whatever. But
Mhm.
I don't understand how they are so fucking bad at merch.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say for all the positives AEW, which again there are a lot of them. Merch is still something that I'm like, how can you not have that figured out by now? Like
And
you've
what
been a
sucks?
company for 6 years. Like your merch situation should
Right.
be way better than it is. I feel like the two things that have always, that have been a long-standing problem, not related to what we watch on television, is
Yeah.
their merch and their promotion. I feel like every time they come to Boston, obviously I'm a nerd wrestling fan, so I know when they're coming in advance. But if I'm a cash, how am I not hearing radio commercials a month before? Or how are you not having a wrestler call into a popular morning show in Boston and do a 10-minute interview about age? Like, I just don't understand how they lack on those two things. As the promotion part of it, they've gotten better at least. It's gotten better, but the merch situation is still just not great.
Yeah.
It's like I don't get it.
And it sucked because when I did get up to the line, I was like, "Hey, are there any sizes of the jersey left?" And they were telling me no. But they were offering that, "Oh, there's going to be a pre-order. So take a
You
look
can
at
get 'em.
the website." And I go, "Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?" Like
Yeah.
But I did get that pre-order in and I did buy it because I needed it. I
Yeah.
needed that jersey. And you know what?
100%.
I love a baseball jersey.
Who doesn't?
I have like several of them in
You
my
know, it's a
closet.
baseball jersey I don't love right now. The Boston Red Sox. I'll save that for another day.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, they've won 3 out of 4, so it's fine. But they started 2-8. Collins 2-8. Can't hit, can't pitch, can't field. Well, what else is there to do in baseball, guys?
Drew over here dropping truth bombs over here. It's merch and crowd audio for me because honestly, this last week on Dynamite,
Sounded like there was nobody there.
it sounded like you could physically see people cheering,
Yeah. Yep.
making noise, but you hear nothing.
Yeah. It's very odd.
Why? What are we doing?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Again, yeah, well, listen. Ass is being generous for the Red Sox. Playing like ass is being generous for the Red Sox. Listen. They beat they took 2 out of 3 from the Brewers, and then they have a chance to take 3 out of 4 they've won. They actually scored the most runs they've scored all year last night, which is nice. But we'll see. We'll see. They stink.
Notice how I'm not even bringing up the Mariners?
They stink too.
What?
It's early though. Look at
it's early. I get it.
It's early. It's a long season, but like, come on now. First of all, your Chicago White Sox are the worst team. I mean, they probably have a better. I think at one point the Red Sox had the worst record in the league. So I can't talk about this specific season, but the White Sox have been the worst team in the league for like 5 years.
Yeah.
So you got, it is what it is for you, man. You got some good young players, though.
I do think it's hilarious, though, that like at the top of the AL West,
Angels,
Oakland,
right?
Oakland, and the Rangers are top, but they're
not Oakland. Actually, they're not Oakland anymore. They're just the A's because they play in Sacramento. They actually this year because last year they didn't reference it at all. This year they actually wore their first uniform that said Sacramento on it. I call them the Oaklementos. That's what I call them.
Nobody wants to be from Oakland anymore.
Does anybody want to be from Sacramento? At least it's a capital, I guess, but
Oh my God. No, my Mariners are doing terrible away. They seem to be like even keel at home. But every time that I've tuned into an away game, I'm like, I can't fucking watch this shit.
But like the dumper only has like 1 home run.
Yeah.
He's not hitting bombs. Yeah. Your pitching staff, which is the best, I think 1 through 5, probably the best still, at least in the American League. The Dodgers are insane. But yeah, they're not pitching as good as they should be. Again, It is.
It's early. I get
the first
it.
2 weeks of the year, but listen, the thing is, it is a long season. But like, if you start off too shitty, you can you have to then play like 600 baseball to even get back to even, and then you have like you can't dig yourself too much of a hole in April, even though it is a super long season. But
I figure that. But yeah, did you see that the Mariners debuted their statue of Ichiro, and as they were pulling off the big old reveal, they broke the bat?
what the fuck was it made out of? Cardboard? It's a statue, isn't it? How the hell is a statue?
I have to show y'all, chat. I have to show you this because you could even see Ichiro was laughing his
How do you
butt
break
off.
a statue? What was it? I assume there was just a cloth over it. There
was a cloth over it. Yeah. But I think this is a good detail over here, guys. I'm a great producer of the show over here.
I can't believe that. How the hell does that happen?
Okay. But you can see the detail of it, y'all.
Oh, wow.
That they as they were pulling off the cloth from it. Hey!
Uh-oh.
What is happening? Get a job. Pay a bill. That's inappropriate, and you know it. No, thank you.
Wow.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I had to tell my kids. But do you see how it's broken right there?
Oh, I do.
It's crazy business. Crazy business.
I don't know how that happens.
But you can see how. Oh my God, dogs!
I liking it. They're not liking it.
They're not liking it. Okay,
stop that, King Dave. Come on, stop that. He is not even close to the greatest player in the franchise. So they had Ken Griffey.
Yeah,
Jr.
Ken Griffey Jr. is absolutely the better player of.
Come on now. Ichiro's great. Ichiro's great. Don't get me wrong, but they had Ken Griffey Jr. on that team, and they had Alex Rodriguez, and they had Randy Johnson,
and Edgar Martinez, who arguably
I loved Edgar.
has been one of the best. I have never seen, outside of like Big Papi, of course, a designated hitter who has taken so much stride to not just be that designated hitter, but when they do play first base, when they do play National League teams, really do step up to that position. So,
yeah. Well, Edgar Martinez was like he was the original guy that set the benchmark of what a DH should be.
Absolutely.
And then David Ortiz kind of like when Edgar retired, David Ortiz kind of became, those are easily the top two DHs of they're like, the golden DHs.
I didn't realize that David Ortiz, his last season, that he didn't want to do a last season.
No, he didn't want to do like the tour, like where everybody was like, kissing his ass. Yeah.
But he was literally running on like broken toes, like bloodied feet.
Oh yeah. His feet
sores,
were terrible. Yeah. Yeah.
Which because like it is one of the biggest legends in modern Boston Red Sox history. And they just kind of like played him out like the cavalry, like this night and this, get your bobblehead here and your commemorative shirt here. And like, you could just see him at every appearance was just like, this is painful.
Yeah. Yeah. Never, Ryan, just for clarification, never fully determined that he actually did it or not. So, but one of the greatest players of all time. People around here don't like it when I say it, but he's the most important and best player in the history of the Boston Red Sox franchise. And people around here are like, yeah, Teddy Williams, what'd he win? 0, nothing. He won nothing. He won nothing. Right.
Listen, do you believe in the
1A.
curse of the Bambino? Come on.
He's 1A. He's one of the greatest players of all time. Love Ted Williams. I'm sure he's
Mhm.
frozen somewhere having a great time. You know, one of the great players in history. He lost 5 years because he served in World War II, which was incredible. People don't talk. He had 520 homers with 5 seasons gone from being in war. So if he didn't, he would have been near 700 in Babe and all those guys on that as well. He's one of the best players ever, but people that still think he's the greatest in Red Sox history when David Ortiz is walking the earth, you are wrong. You are wrong. I don't care about your opinion. You are wrong.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
Thank you.
Honestly, though, fair.
Sorry. David Ortiz in the 2013 World Series, the Boston Marathon year, which was the most insane season of my fandom, because that team was full of a bunch of schmucks, and they somehow won the World Series. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't understand. In the World Series that year, he batted 600. He hit 600 in that World Series. That is unbelievable. And that grand slam in the ALCS against Detroit in Game 2 to tie it, the greatest home run in the Red Sox franchise history. Greatest home run ever. Unbelievable. Hi,
Dios mío. We could talk best players, best eras all day, every day. Every time anyone mentions the Boston Marathon, I always have to shout out my aunt Janet. No, she's a nurse. She's an ER
very
nurse.
good.
So she has done that every single year, including the bombing situation.
Awful.
Which
what a terrible day.
She had to take some time to process that, because
I can imagine. I was on a brewery tour. Because so the Boston Marathon is usually usually the second Monday in April. Like, it's coming up. It's like next Monday.
Yeah, it's next. Yeah,
it's next Monday. And the Boston Red Sox every year, they play a baseball game that starts at 11 a.m. It's the earliest baseball game in the whole calendar for any team. It starts at 11 a.m. in the morning on that Monday, because that's a holiday in Massachusetts. It's Patriots Day.
Yeah,
it's not a holiday anywhere else in the country, but in Massachusetts, Boston Marathon Day is on Patriots Day. And the Red Sox play at 11 a.m. every year, and it's a holiday for Massachusetts. And the Boston Marathon is a huge deal. And like, everybody goes. It's a day off. All the streets are closed. Like, it's a crazy day. And I was on a brewery tour the day of the marathon bombing, and we're in the middle of the tour, and then all of a sudden there was probably like 10 or 11 people on this tour, plus the person running the tour. You just heard everyone's phones going off.
Oh my God.
And the tour guide is like looking at his phone, and he's like, "Oh, hold on, guys, I'll be right back." And he walks off, and then you see all the other patrons, and everyone's like murmuring. And then he came back, and he was like, "Hey guys, not to alarm anybody, but something major just happened in Boston. I'm sure you're going to hear about it momentarily. We're going to cancel the rest of the tour. Why don't we just go in the bar and drink?" Which is such a Boston thing to do. Hey,
yeah, that's such a Boston thing.
There's a tragedy going on. Let's go pound some beers. We gotta get through this together. And it was just a surreal. And then, like, the coming days, one of the guys was still loose, and they were like chasing him through towns.
Yeah,
and
like in the
neighborhoods, and shit. It was a wild few days in Massachusetts, especially like more towards the city and the suburbs of the city. But it was crazy. That was a crazy time.
There is a documentary, since most of you probably have a Netflix subscription. There is a documentary on Netflix that I try to watch once or twice a year, just because for me, because it does hit so close to home, because my aunt was literally helping people with, like, limb injuries. And like having to pick up people and assess their wounds, and knowing that some of these nurses, yes, they are volunteering their time to do, like, it's not like a paid gig. but knowing that like everyone has different nurse protocol, everyone has different nurse experience, and knowing that like she's a 20-year nurse, like
Yeah.
25-year nurse, like with all of this ER experience, and knowing that like you have to make life or death like calls right there before ambulances are coming because they blocked off so much of the city.
You can't get through anywhere. Everything's shut for the race and all this stuff.
Yeah. So I just like to keep that memory, I guess, in my brain. I mean, people do that with a lot of other kind of tragedies, I guess. But for me, it is really important to kind of keep that on my brain and just think of the lives that were actually lost, and the impact of everything that happened. But how do I transition away from this? But I don't know, just hug your people. But yeah. My dad always wanted to qualify for the Boston Marathon, but their cutoff time is pretty it's pretty elite up there because a lot of people, I mean, I think it's like over 30,000 people try to apply for the Boston Marathon because it really is like, it is a big deal.
Yeah.
But honestly, hats off to you because as a former ER RN, the stuff you see is crazy. I used to be a frequent flyer to the emergency room, especially as a kid. And as a kid, I remember seeing like scissors in someone's arm.
Hell yeah.
And because like I'm an accident prone kid. We lived on Navy base. Like our insurance is basically free. So, my mom was always, although there was that one time where my mom had to stitch up my knee because she said that we were not going to the emergency room.
So she just did it?
Yeah.
Okay. She trained to do it?
Yeah. My mom was a
my mom has no
training. Well, my mom was a paramedic, so she did that. But that's also something that I could not do because I don't know about you. Are you because when something traumatic happens, are you a fight, flight, or freeze kind of person?
I'm a fight.
So I'm a freeze person. So like if something happens like tragedy, I immediately like shut down.
Yeah.
And I just go mute. I was in like a kind of a bad car accident where someone else was driving and they were intoxicated. And we hit a pole. And I was the only one in the car that was wearing a seatbelt. So my injuries were very minimal, but I'm just sitting there like someone got cut. So their blood was like on me. And I'm just sitting there like shaking my hands, like, and they're like, okay, can you, the police are asking you like, what happened? Give us your brief description. And I literally could not speak.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens in my brain. I don't know how to train myself to not do that. And I just needed time.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I'm usually all right, let's get us all out of here type, like, all right, are you good? You good? Okay, let's go. And then we'll figure out what we need to do afterwards. But like, now's not the time. Like we got to do, stretching out. Oh.
This is when I call her being a puppy.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, shake it off.
Okay, girl.
Yeah. But knock on wood, I haven't had many like traumatic experiences like that in my life. Few. But not like anything like crazy. But I've been around like I worked in retail my whole life, so I've seen some like scary customer things like while I've been working.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
if
I'm
there's
right in
scary
there. I'm
customer
like,
things, like,
I'm
I
like, I'm in.
immediately
Yeah, I'm in. And I'll be like, all right, we got to do this. You take care. And this was even before I was like the boss. Like I was just like, okay, we got to take care of, seizure type stuff and like things like
Oh,
scary
yeah, like
things
in a
like that.
medical situation, yeah.
Yes. I'm usually like, okay, like let's but I wasn't. I mean, I got injured because I played a lot of sports and stuff when I was a kid, but I wouldn't say I was an injury prone kid. My sister was a friggin' klutz. So she would
Your sister
fucking
and I would
idiot.
be same.
She's smarter. She's like smarter. She's the smarter of the two, but she's a fucking idiot. Like she was when she was a kid. Now she's awesome and she's smart and she's a great mom and she's just a great person. Like she always was.
I
But
love that.
when she was a kid, she was the shittiest. And she would just like, she was the one at the dinner table that spilled her drink 4 times a week everywhere. She was the one that dropped food everywhere. She was the one that would fall doing something at the house. Oh yeah, Drew's talking about the eye story. Have I told you the eye story? Have I said that on this show?
No, what happened?
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay, everybody buckle in, sit down, send your super chats. We want to hear the eye story.
So I was probably 4 to 5 years old. My sister was 2 or 3. Little. We were kids.
Okay.
My dad was in a work league softball league that they played a couple games a week at night. And my mom would always take us to go see the games, and we would be messing around, having fun. And one time we were in our family car and we were playing car. So I was the driver and she was my passenger. And we were playing car, and she decided that she was done playing car. And I decided that she wasn't done playing because I wasn't done playing. And she opened the car door and she tried to get out of the car, and I reached over and I shut the door so she wouldn't leave, and her face got squished and her eye came out. Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah.
Did it go back in?
One of my dad's softball friends, his real name was Mark, but he always wore a Batman shirt, and we were kids, so we called him Batman. So very fitting in this case, actually.
Yeah.
Batman came over, or he was walking by from the John or the Porta John or whatever it was, and he saw it happen in real time, and he was like right there immediately, and yes, the eye was fine. Back in and fine. But I think he kind of just... And she was fine. She had a little bit of a cut. She still has like a very small scar that you can see 30-something years later. She's like 35 plus years later or something like that. But yeah. Obviously didn't mean for that to happen. Duh.
Of course.
And then so she was crying and then I kind of shoved her out of the car, like, get the fuck out of here. And then I shut the doors and I locked them so my parents couldn't get back in because my dad was playing and he had the keys. So, but like they were trying to get in the car to get at me because they thought that I hurt my sister on purpose. And I was like, I didn't. So I locked the doors. So I was just in the car. So they couldn't get to me. And then I finally got out and they were like, my mom was like, it was an accident. I'm like, yeah, it was. Don't come at me. But that's the car. That's the eye story. I accidentally knocked my sister's eye out of socket.
Oh, that's so scary. That's so scary.
I don't know how
you never did that again.
No, I mean, I beat the shit out of her like later on. But like, I don't know how at 4, like, it must have just been the perfect, because I'm only 4 or 5. I can't have
you can't force
and do, especially reaching over. It's not like I'm a human that can just do, like I was little. I had to like crawl over and like I was so I just had to be like the perfect kind of thing, because I can't imagine I had a lot of force behind the door shut to do that. But
you never know.
I have been told by a doctor that I'm a freak of nature, so maybe it was anyway.
Well, I've had 6 concussions, so
wow.
You didn't know
6?
that? Yeah. I've had some brain.
That's a lot. You'd have to retire if you were a pro rapper. Nowadays.
So my first concussion fell down the stairs and I was 6 years old. But it was when we were living in Connecticut. So it was like an old Connecticut house, very steep stairs.
Yeah.
Caught my sock on one of those nail, the wood nails or whatever. And my head just bonked on
Mm.
like 17 steps going down.
Hell yeah.
Second one, I was in the 4th grade, so that's like 11, and
Yep.
I was riding a bike without a helmet.
Oh,
Smashed
come
my
on.
head into the curb. My mom
Ooh.
told me that we had to wear helmets,
Yeah.
but I intentionally didn't wear a helmet because I was riding bikes with my crush at the time.
Mm.
Um
Things we do for love.
yeah, because I had a really sick ponytail with a Pikachu,
Oh
like
shit.
a little
Ribbon.
thing. Yeah, a little ribbon thing in my hair. And I
Wow.
didn't want it to get messed up by the helmet.
You were like, I'm
And
totally cool if my face gets messed up though.
totally.
But yeah.
Um, and then I had 2 concussions, 2 concussions within the same year, which is like
Mm.
really bad. But that was in 8th grade. I was playing basketball. First one, I go up for a layup. I just get like housed by a girl. And like when your arms are up in the air, you don't have anything really to
Oh yeah.
like break your fall. So I just like bounced off the wood, on the floor. And this is back in the early 2000s, so they didn't have any concussion protocol.
Mm-hmm.
So I was literally back in it
I
in
was gonna
another
say
basketball game.
yeah, I was gonna say you were back out there like
Mhm.
10 minutes later probably or something.
Yeah, you kinda just, like, shake it off, and I
Yeah.
was really, like, nauseous, but the second one, I I think I just, like, was running too fast, and I hit the wall because I was
Mm.
running too fast, couldn't stop myself, and I just hit the wall and bounced off of it, and that's where I puked.
Mm.
So
Hell yeah.
don't do that, kids. Don't
Yeah.
don't hit your head. I got injured at Warp Tour. I got a
Fair.
concussion
In a pit?
in the pit.
Hell yeah.
I think it was like Chiodos or something. It
Oh,
wasn't even
the
like a
best.
main. So then I think that was like 2006 Warp Tour, and I spent the entire rest of the night while all of my friends were seeing everyone else.
Mhm.
I was at the medical tent, and they
Damn.
told me they and that's when like I kind of knew like, hey, I realize if I like headbang too much, like I get really like disoriented,
Mhm.
and brain is mush. Brain is mush.
It's fair.
Um, and then I got a concussion in that car accident. So,
Mm. There you go. That's a lot.
mhm.
That's a lot.
So
Yeah.
guys, protect your domes. I mean, fortunately, I would say I don't have any like neurological issues. However, like I am on the spectrum. And like when I was getting tested, they said, well, because you've had so many like brain injuries, we don't know if like the symptoms that you have because you're on the spectrum is because you've had brain injury.
It's fair. Yeah.
So they were like,
Listen,
there's been so much trauma, we don't know. But
that is pretty good though. That's a good run of injuries. My injuries were never head related.
mhm.
I had a subluxation of my kneecap playing baseball.
Ooh, bleh.
Popped in and out. And then yeah, it's bad.
Ugh.
That's pretty bad. It was one of those where I was running down to first base and I just planted and I heard my knee click.
Ah!
I heard my knee click, and then the next time I
No.
planted, it hurt a lot, and I was like, "Oh, what did I do?" And then I just kind of ran to the bench and I looked right at my coach and I was like, "I'm out. That's it. You got to replace me." And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, something happened. Something happened."
Yeah,
And
something.
that hurt. That hurt like a bitch. That hurt like a bitch. And then I worked through it on my feet in retail for like 2.5 weeks, and I couldn't. I was just limping, and my boss looked at me and she was like, "You need to go. Like, you can't. You got to go to the doctor." I'm like, it'll be fine. She's like, "Joe, it's been like 3 weeks." I'm like, "Yeah, it'll." She goes, "Go to the fucking doctor." And I said,
Go to the
"Okay."
doctor.
And then I guess the inflammation around my kneecap was so black and blue. It was almost like and I had to miss work for a month.
Oh my god.
And then I had a not a ruptured disc, but whatever the one below ruptured is. I had like a bulging disc in my neck that I got that literally almost felt like my left side would like go paralyzed at times. Like I couldn't feel or do anything.
What's crazy about those bulging discs is like, if you've watched the Kurt Angle documentary, he had like all these like broken and like bulging discs, and all the doctor did was like take out the fragmented pieces, and then he was like, stitched up. There you go back.
They gave me cortisone shots for like, I think a year straight. I took 2 cortisone shots because they like you couldn't feel like. So I would take it, boom, and like I didn't feel anything for 4 months, and then it would slowly get terrible.
Yeah.
And then a month and a half later, they're like, boom. And then I was like, all right. And then they were like, we could do surgery, but we have to like go through your neck. Like, I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. So then they were like, all right, we'll do the cortisone shots. And then they sent me to go get like acupuncture. So I did that, which helped. Not so much the acupuncture, but the guy would do like cupping after, which felt
I love
great.
cupping.
And he would do it right on the disc, and I would be like, oh my god. And it felt so good. I did that for like a year and a half, and then eventually it just stopped hurting. So I don't even know if it's like healed properly, because like I didn't do any procedures or anything, but it just
your body
stopped
is an amazing
hurting.
thing.
Yeah.
I mean, both of us played sports, and I know that both of us probably went hard in the paint. So knowing myself that like there were no like limitations of like, yeah, this could be damaging by, I don't know, playing with a concussion.
Well, first of all,
continue to play the whole season.
You were a child. That's not your responsibility to make that decision. That's the parent. That's the
true.
Adults to make that decision.
There were
not
many adults in my life.
They were adults, but they were like, I don't fucking know. Back then in the night, please, you watch like football highlights and like pro sports highlights. How many of those football players in the 90s and early 2000s were getting concussed probably 3 or 4 times a game?
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, he got his bell rung. He'd be out of the game for 3 plays and right back in there. I'm like, what? All right. Then, it's crazy. Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, there only one of those head injuries like actually led to like an actual seizure event, which was the one in 4th grade, which is where my parents were like, maybe we need to
in
put
4th
some
grade. You're what, like 10?
Yeah, 10, 11.
10, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So having like a seizure and being admitted to the hospital, I think the biggest part as like being a kid is like I hit my head and then I don't remember anything. And everyone else has these memories of like, oh, you were convulsing and like vomiting, and then you passed out, and then we put you in the ambulance, and then all these things. It's like, I don't remember shit. I don't remember my entire 4th grade year.
Damn. Yeah, that's not good.
But like little child development brains are important, people. But I don't know how much of my brain trauma is like also that plus like I was but also I say but also, sorry. I was a really good kid until probably my 3rd concussion, my 3rd and 4th concussion that happened in the same time span.
Mm-hmm.
Because from there, I was like a real athlete, and I was really good at like school, and I was really good at, a good kid, and I was going to church and all the things. And then something happened, 8th grade, probably brain injury, probably all the things. And I was diagnosed with ADHD. And then my crave for danger did not subside. And that's when we were stealing things.
Oh.
And doing illegal things.
Wow. And you were chip off the old block, you are over there.
Look at me now, guys.
You know?
But all this to say, take care of your brains, guys.
Yes. Speaking of stealing. Okay, yeah. No, you got it. I'm going to say, speaking of stealing.
Yeah.
WWE is stealing all my sanity a week before WrestleMania.
Listen,
I know we're talking
25%
Dynasty.
off just Saturday night.
Yeah, just Saturday night, because the only match on the card that was wrestling fans were excited about, they have completely ruined over the last 2 weeks with this nonsense that I'm watching on SmackDown. The easiest story to tell of any match on the WrestleMania weekend is Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Nobody needed to be on the fucking phone. Nobody needs to hear Pat McAfee. I'm sorry, Pat McAfee. My bad. Nobody needs to hear. That's what CM Punk said. Nobody needs to hear him.
Why are they both intermingled? Why is Punk getting involved?
Why is this happening at all? Last night, that was excruciatingly bad. And Cody knows it. I can tell he knows it.
Oh, Friday.
And Randy knows it. There is no need for this to be happening with this story, with this angle. And it has completely taken me, and I know a lot of other like actual real wrestling fans, out of this whole feud. It makes no sense. It's pissed me off, actually. It's the only thing I'm really pissed off about.
This could have been so easy, right? Because the story that they were telling was Cody Rhodes is starting to turn, right?
Yeah.
That Cody Rhodes is going to be bad guy. We've called him, Homelander, all the things, right? That he is starting to go bad, and people are interested in that. Randy Orton, at this point in his career, is not going to be booed.
No.
So he could have been having this, I'm in the end of my career. Here are my goals. I'm going to get there any way I can. Blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
It is like they took this easy storyline and they go, what if we play Mad Libs with this?
It's unbelievable.
And add a celebrity to it, because it needs to be bigger than it already is. But what if we pick someone that nobody gives a fuck about?
It's just, and again, I don't even think that it's not that nobody gives a fuck about Pat McAfee. It's not. Of all the matches you could have added the Pat McAfee storyline to, this was not the one.
No.
And I understand Cody's the champ. I understand. But like, this was not the one. The story was already there. All you had to do was just talk about their history or turn Cody heel. It's because very, very simple.
So much depth to it here.
And now all of a sudden, in this story, we have Jelly Roll and Pat McAfee. Like, I don't give a shit. And McAfee stole his title. Okay, great. Like, and again, and all reports are saying this is not really a WWE-led thing. This was more of a TKO. But I look at it and I go, how can you miss the point so much? How can you miss the point so much? This was as old school a wrestling story as you could tell of all the matches. It was literally in the palm of your hand how easy it is to tell the story of Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. And you have completely fucked it. To the point where, and there's a huge difference between getting heat, where you're actually getting heat, and getting the heat that this is getting, which is nobody gives a fuck about it.
Yes.
That's not what you want in your night one main event. You don't want people to not care about it. You want people to actually care about it to the point where the heat is lava. And this is the exact opposite. This has everybody going, what the fuck is going on here? It makes no sense. And it's really like, holy crap, man.
I also think it really undoes a lot by Pat going on his own podcast, which is not small potatoes. He has a lot of people tuning into his show to basically say, this is crap. Okay, you've basically told your fan base, you've told other wrestling fans that this is crap. Why would I want to purchase a $400 seat after fees and taxes to watch crap?
And potentially travel, have to spend on a hotel, have to spend on flights.
Yes.
You're talking, this is over $1,000 most
over
likely.
$1,000 to watch crap.
to watch what you're telling. You're in the main event of night one. You are in the story of the main event, and you are telling your fans, and whether you're playing the character still or not, you're telling the fans that everything in WWE sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's story, character, or not, you're saying the booking sucks, the champion sucks, the show sucks. Let's bring back the Attitude Era fan. Let's bring back that, which nobody is. I was an Attitude Era guy. I was a teenager when the Attitude Era was happening. If anybody is the definition of an Attitude Era fan, it's me. That was me. I don't need the Attitude Era back at all. I don't. And if you go, and a lot of people won't like to admit this, but if you go back and you watch the Attitude Era, there's way more bad than there is good. Way more bad.
Yeah. I mean, consider WrestleMania 17 is one of the best WrestleManias, hands down.
Yeah,
the
best in my opinion.
It is really what sparked a lot of things into the stratosphere. 2001, right?
Yeah.
People that's Houston, Texas, guys. Houston, Texas is very accessible. RAP the Astrodome, right?
It was the Astrodome, yes.
Okay. Because the Astrodome is no longer habitable.
No.
Yes, the Astrodome. Okay. Sorry, I had to make sure. I didn't want to be wrong. But that's a 12 match card with one, like, including a dark match, right?
Yep.
But there are multiple matches on this WrestleMania that, in retrospect, if I had just looked at it, would be, yes, I would travel from where I live to Houston, buy a ticket, and go watch this show. Granted, this is 2001, prices are different, like lodging is different, like everything is different. But Stone Cold versus The Rock, absolutely would spend the money. Undertaker versus Triple H, absolutely at that time. The ladder match itself, Edge, Christian, Dudley Boys, Hardy Boys, absolutely. Whether you believe it or not, Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit.
Oh, terrific!
But at the time,
listen, I was there live when they fought at the Royal Rumble in 2003. Still to this day, one of the best live wrestling matches I've ever seen in person. And that guy got a standing ovation from that crowd for like 5 minutes after that match. That's how good that match was. It's nuts, dude. It's nuts. But yeah, that match was incredible. Yeah, you could go through that card. Yeah, read through the whole card. I bet you.
Yeah, so
there's not many duds.
It started with Chris Jericho versus William Regal for the Intercontinental Championship. The 6-man tag was Taz and APA versus Right to Censor, which had that whole storyline, right? The Right to Censor with the FCC
was it the Good Father?
Good Father, Val Venus.
Piece of shit.
Bill Buchanan. There was that triple threat for the Hardcore Championship of Raven, Big Show, Kane, where they almost unplugged everything. Eddie Guerrero versus Test, Kurt Angle versus Benoit, Chyna versus Ivory, which, even though that's the shortest match on the card, having that memorable moment of her holding Ivory above her head. I mean, there is Shane McMahon versus Mr. McMahon.
But
there's that coast to coast moment, and then Linda stands up like that's
kicks him right in the penis.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say that for what it is, you look at it on paper and you're like, but that was as entertaining as anything else on that show. That whole story they told with Vince being, not far from his real life persona of a piece of shit. And just the Linda moment when she stood up from the chair, that arena lost their fucking mind. And then she kicks, like, that was just,
when she kicks him right in the balls. We all were Linda McMahon at that moment.
Raven with the shopping cart from the triple threat. Like, I loved Raven. I was an ECW kid too, but I loved Raven. I loved that whole character in every form.
Obviously I mentioned the tag championship match with the tables, ladders, and chairs. With Edge, Christian, Dudley's, Hardy's. There was a gimmick battle royal, which was silly.
The Iron Sheik, baby.
Yeah, Iron Sheik winning.
The best line, Bobby the Brain Heenan, God rest his soul. He's on commentary with Mean Gene. And this is where Bobby could still talk. This was before he got sick. Hey, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. And Bobby the Iron Sheik's walking down to the ring, and Bobby the Brain Heenan goes, "Oh, by the time Sheik gets to the ring, it's going to be WrestleMania 37." Bobby the Brain
it's true though.
He was the best.
And then obviously the end is the Undertaker versus Triple H, and then Stone Cold versus The Rock.
Yeah.
So
true. Awesome.
But like arguably one of the best cards, one of the best builds from the Royal Rumble of 2001 through WrestleMania season. And I just feel like if we really truly want to emulate what this is, it's not complicated storylines. It's not adding celebrity stipulations. It's not podcast after podcast. Like, yes, we do need to metamorphosize into the current stratosphere, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody is watching week to week to week. A lot of people are casual watchers and they only watch the clips, or they only watch the recap episode on Netflix, or they're only watching a couple things here and there. However, it doesn't have to be fucking rocket scientists. Scientists?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Doesn't have to be fucking rocket scientist.
Dude, wrestling is pretty simple. It's the same 15 stories that it's always been since the beginning of time. You just put wrinkles in it to go with the characters who are in the story. It's not hard, guys. It's the same shit. Best friends turning on each other, love story angles, all these other, it's the same shit all the time. But like, and again, I'm not one of those people that's like, celebrities shouldn't be at WrestleMania. Celebrities have always been at WrestleMania.
The first WrestleMania was.
Yes. They've always been a part of it.
Yes.
I'm not one of those no. But there is a vast difference from the way TKO, WWE, how they view it, specifically this year, because it feels, it's just, I just don't understand how anybody was sitting in a room and said, all right, we got Cody and Randy. The fans are invested in this. This is a story they've really wanted to see for a long time. Since Cody's come back, really, at least for me, this has been the match and the feud that I've wanted. And I think a lot of us feel that way. And then they give it to us. And we're like, oh, shit, we're getting Randy and Cody. Like, oh, all right. Ooh, all right, let's go. And then they do the, in my opinion,
those who know the history.
Yeah. They do the easy thing and have Orton be the one to turn. Fine. I think all of us, we would have preferred Cody, but we weren't upset with the Orton turn. And then because fans cheered Randy, because we all want Cody to turn heel, they're like, okay, how can we get more heat on this? Let's get a guy on a phone that's talking to Randy. We'll kind of create some intrigue. Fine. But then if you make that decision, that person on the phone needs to be someone that is actually going to get heat. And again, I am not even an anti-McAfee guy. I'm not. But it's just one of those things that it needs to be somebody that hits harder than that, period. And it just did not hit. It's a complete whiff. And now it feels like, to me, they are building more for the tag match that's going to happen at Backlash, more than they're building to the world title match that's happening next week at WrestleMania. That's how I feel. Because I feel like they are building towards Cody and Jelly Roll versus Pat McAfee and Randy Orton at Backlash more than they're building towards the actual title match that's happening next week. And I don't understand. I don't understand what's happening at all. And for them to have as easy a story as they had to completely fuck it, like they have here, it is baffling. It's baffling.
Absolutely. I do want to shout out Ryan over here saying WWE booking Mania like TNA is now. Ha 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 ha. WWE. That's how I read that.
TNA's got their own crap that they've been doing.
Okay, what I before we go through the WrestleMania card, I really would like to know, what is your thoughts and opinions about TNA pulling their talent? Because we saw this week that Leon Slater got pulled from his match at WrestleCon versus Ricochet. Bear Bronson getting pulled from his match versus MJF. Nick Nemeth also, right? He was supposed to.
Nick Nemeth was MJF.
Nick Nemeth was MJF. And who was Bear Bronson against? I can't remember.
That I don't know. But
okay.
The TNA people are getting pulled from their matches versus AEW people.
Correct. What do you think about that?
I think it's well, first of all, I think it's shitty.
I think it's shitty too.
I think it's not cool, especially one of them was a benefit show that they do every year. I think the Leon Slater one was a benefit show that they do every year. The Nick Nemeth and MJF one, let me tell you, that was a match I was looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to that.
Big time. Here's my thing. You have a business arrangement with WWE, even though we haven't seen like a ton of crossover lately, as much as there has been. But you have this. So if you want to make that decision that you want to keep TNA people away from AEW people and AEW matches, fine. You can make that decision. But if there are already matches booked, it is not cool for you to be. That match where they removed Leon Slater was like a week out. That was like shortly over a week out from happening. That puts that people booking that show in a really, really tough position. Because now they have to scramble to try to get another main event going on. And they figured out they have a trios match now with, I think, the Jet Speed. And they figured it out. But still, like, that's just not cool. The match that I think it's for Pat Buck's indie fed.
The Creative Pro Wrestling.
Which was MJF's trainer, and MJF was doing him a solid and doing in the main event, and they got Nemeth for it. That's a big time match for that, and for Pat Buck, who's done a lot for the wrestling business. To pull the rug out with not a lot of time to find a replacement, that's messed up. So, like, I have no problem with them making the decision, hey, we're not going to do this anymore. Fine. WWE doesn't let out their people. They never have. Like, that's cool. But I'm kind of like, I don't know. I kind of look at it and I go, if the matches are already booked, you should let those matches happen and then just say, all right, from here on out, this is what we're doing. But I just think it's a terrible look. I think Carlos Silva looks like a bitch. In it. And I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good.
I think it is poor decorum on TNA's part. And if Carlos is doing this because AEW last week ran on Thursday and they were pissed about it.
That's petty. It's
petty bullshit. And it hurts the business. Why are you doing things that are hurting the business, the actual business that you are in, that you are choosing to be in?
You're hurting your own talent. Those are paydays that your talent that you don't pay. You pay. I think I don't quote me, but I think they pay per
them
date.
Shit.
They pay yes, but they also pay them by. Or at least some of them. I don't think they pay by appearance, like date.
They are. A lot of them
contracts
are per appearance. There are not many TNA contracts, and I think that a lot of people have said, who have left TNA, that they have left their contract because they were making more money on the indies, which that's crazy to me. That I could be making more money on the indies, making a couple $100 here, flying to this location, maybe a couple $100 more here. Maybe there's a deal like in Seattle, we have a couple of promotions, one on a Friday, one on a Saturday, one on a Sunday. You get a couple $100, you have to fly to one place and you're there for a weekend. Whatever the case, I'm like, I follow how Effie is in a different city literally every night, making more money on the indies than he would be signed to a promotion, which is absolutely crazy to me because TNA has a TV deal.
Correct.
Do you guys remember? AMC, big thing. Now they're in partnership with WWE and now they're taking business advice from WWE, who literally at one time hoarded talent so that they didn't go to the other guy.
Yeah.
And they bloated their roster.
Yeah. It doesn't make TNA. it just doesn't. I don't know. How does that hurt your company that you have one of your top guys fighting the AEW champion? And I know there are some people saying like that was a Warner's brother call to move it on Thursday.
Yeah.
But even so, even if it wasn't and it was a TK call because of that,
who cares?
Get over it, bro. You're running a company that is you literally work with WWE.
Right.
Get over it. You are being, and I apologize for calling him the bitch earlier, but you're being petty. You are being a petty.
It is a petty thing.
It is super petty. It is super petty. And again, you're taking a payday. Not that Nick Nemeth needs a pay. He's fine. He's fine financially. But like Leon, you're taking money away from Bear Bronson, from Leon Slater, from, and more importantly, there are wrestling fans that paid tickets to go to these shows to see Leon Slater fight and to see Nick Nemeth versus MJF. And yeah, they'll probably find some good replacements and everything will go over fine. But like, if I bought money to go see that Create a Pro show because I knew it was Nick Nemeth versus MJF, and I was like, holy crap, I can go see this show. Like, that's pretty good. And then you took that away, I would be pissed. I would be pissed. And it would not that I have the time to watch TNA because there was only so much time, but like,
yeah,
that would make me be like, well, screw, like, I'm not supporting that company anymore. Even if I was like, it's just nonsense. It's nonsense.
I'm going to tell you something. TNA rarely visits the Pacific Northwest. I do not remember a time where there was a TNA circuit in Washington State. No. They've gone to California. I mean, hell, they're going to, in May, they're going to be in Sacramento. Cool. That's not me. They're going to be in Colorado. Then they're going to go all the way back to Boston. Like, I get that, like, if that's where your market is and your demographic is only in the major cities, for someone like me it's not like I live in a small city. I live in a really pretty
are you going to Dynamite? Are you going to Dynamite on Wednesday? Okay. Yeah. Because they're in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Dynamite and Collision taping. So.
Ooh. All right.
I got to figure out what to wear. I'm not sitting cam side, guys. I'm not sitting cam side. I always get weird when people go, "Oh, we'll look for you on camera." Please don't. Please don't.
Fair.
So for the first Wrestle Dream, I was 8 rows from like the 100 section, so I'm not on the floor. So I'm just like 8 rows up. And I love that. I love that pay-per-view because that's what birthed Wrestling Made Me Cry. It's what birthed like a lot of things for me. But I don't like watching it because I just see myself.
It's fair. It's fair.
I don't want to see myself when I'm watching these shows, guys. It's not about me. Anyways, but like if I want to see a TNA wrestler, so if I want to see like Mike Santana and he's at Defy, I'm going to fucking buy a ticket to go to Defy.
Of course.
Because it's Mike Santana and I never get to see him wrestle, right? If the Hardys happen to go to Defy or they go to SOS Pro Wrestling, like I want to go there. But they also book AEW talent.
They do.
So if I want to see these people that are never here in my local home promotion, or if I go to Las Vegas and do the WrestleMania circuit, right, of all these different indie promotions, and I want to support all these indie wrestlers and something that they need to get the casuals' attention, maybe that they're not busy on a Thursday or Friday before WrestleMania, and they need to use a TNA talent that they know already. Oh, I want to go see a show with Leon Slater. Oh, Leon Slater versus Ricochet. That's like a dream match, right? And now you're saying, no, can't do that. We cannot have AEW talent commingling with TNA because they're the enemy. Fuck that.
It's stupid.
That's stupid.
Kenny Omega was your world champion at one point.
Yeah.
Put you over.
And he got me to watch TNA.
Come on.
Hello, Greg.
Greg.
What's up, Yins?
And I get it. Like, again, you're in business with WWE. So I understand that being the protocol. Yes, because now they're fighting each other instead of fighting other people.
Thank you, guys. I always appreciate the my fact.
Again, it's like you can't just let them do this. Just can't be the protocol moving forward, and just let them do these matches. Like you had to pull them with not a lot of notice on these people. It's just it's childish.
Okay, King over here saying Mercedes beat Jody Threat. Why is this a problem now? I have a feeling that they were okay with this because Mercedes was losing.
Maybe. Yeah.
And their talent was going to go on top, which makes me think, okay, was MJF going to win then? Was Ricochet going to win?
Yeah. MJF was 100% going
to He's the AEW World Champion.
Yeah, exactly. He's the AEW World Champion. I love Nick Nemeth. I love Dolph Ziggler, one of my all-time favorite, underutilized to the end of time in WWE. However, there is no way that a non-champion was going to have a match with the AEW World Champion and win. And I think that probably leaned into it a little bit because they were like, we don't want all our people not only fighting AEW people, but losing to AEW people because we know they're going to lose.
Absolutely. Carl over here saying that one moment was iconic, though, in my opinion. Lots. Yeah. Honestly,
it's not a good look.
It's not a good look, TNA. Figure out your own shit.
But here's the thing. We've been saying this crap about TNA for 25 years. TNA will go on these good runs and everyone's like, oh shit, TNA's got a boom and oh, look at this. Oh. And then they do something and then everybody goes, well, TNA's going to TNA.
Guys,
and this is another one of those moments.
It was in 2026, in the beginning of 2026, where Chris Jericho said that TNA was the number 2 promotion.
Sure did.
When all of us were speculating that Chris Jericho was going to WWE. And guess what? We didn't get to talk about. We haven't talked about
Chris Jericho going to WWE because he went back to AEW.
He went back to AEW. Were you surprised? Were you shocked?
No. I thought he was going to go to WWE, but over the last month or so, it was pretty apparent.
It's pretty obvious.
It was probably coming back to AEW. I think, I'm going to be honest with you. I know not everybody likes Jericho. That's fine. I actually think the last couple of weeks haven't been that bad. I've actually kind of enjoyed it a little bit. So it is what it is. I think Ricochet, and I don't know if you want to transition to the pay-per-view now, but I think Ricochet is actually a perfect opponent for Jericho because at least as of right now, they have brought him back as a babyface, Jericho.
You just made the list.
They brought that back, which was, hey, look at I chuckled. They brought that back. He's come back as a babyface, and I think of a lot of people on the roster, Ricochet, a lot of it deserved, and some of it I think undeserved, but most of it deserved. A lot of people do not like one Rick O'Shea. And if you want to get Jericho over as a babyface, I feel like Ricochet is one of the guys that people are going to be cheering for Jericho to beat up. Absolutely. So I think this actually works as an opponent as well. I don't know how long Jericho stays as a babyface, but I've liked what they've done the last couple of weeks. I'm sorry, I have. I know not everybody's like, oh, Jericho. I've never been that way. Like there are times where I felt like he didn't need to be on my television every week. But I've never been like kind of I'm not really an anti-Jericho guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably my age. He was one of the core people of my wrestling fandom my whole life. And he's one of the 5 to 8 to 10 best guys to ever do it. And I don't think that's debatable. Yeah, man, I haven't hated it. I still think he's screwing Kenny tonight, but we'll get there.
Well, you know what? You are beautiful on the inside.
Thank you.
Your innocence personified.
I will drag you down, though. You'll find out soon enough. We've only been doing this for like a month.
I love Jericho being back. Sorry, I think that Ricochet is I agree everything that you said. That I think that Ricochet is a perfect opponent, because if this is the role that Ricochet plays, where he's the dickish heel and you have a clear baby face coming in, come on, it's gonna be great. I'm excited. So
I'm very intrigued by it, because Jericho looks like he's in great shape. It looks like he clearly got in good shape for the return. But Ricochet inside that ring is that's a different cat, man. And I'm very intrigued to see how Jericho will stay, what kind of match they have tonight, and if Jericho is going to have his like extra working boots on tonight and be like, no, I'm going to keep up with you a little bit here. I'm going to keep up with you.
I just don't want to see him do a insult ever again.
What if he nails it though?
Okay, but every time it makes me go.
Yeah, because one time he's gonna try to do it, and he's too old to land right in the top of his head. And that's gonna be
I don't want to see that. I'm not interested in that. But I like Jericho. I'm sorry, I really liked him when he was the learning tree. I thought
I did too.
He was very self-aware, and everyone on Fightful that I was having conversations with were like, "What are you talking about? Jericho sucks."
I don't. Again, you are allowed to like and dislike, and there's reasons on and off the field, we'll say, to dislike Chris Jericho. Okay, I have never been one of those people. I think for him to take all the complaints of the wrestling community of him being on TV too much and all this and all that, and to him, and there's one thing that you cannot deny about Chris Jericho is wrestling mind-wise, one of the best of all time, ever, ever, ever. And for him to take all that and turn it into the character that we saw the learning tree become, not everybody can do that the way that Chris Jericho can. I'm with you, Collins. I've always been kind of pro Jericho. Look at man.
Pro Jericho over here.
And I don't apologize for it. You don't like it. You don't like it. That's fine.
That's fine. There's a lot of things in wrestling that I don't like.
I'm done with apologizing because I like things that some people think I shouldn't like. We're allowed to, and Jericho's one of them.
And so I clicked the wrong
I know nothing about
over here.
I know nothing about that. I did see the GoFundMe to bring that all back, which I'm assuming it'll get enough press that maybe it does, but I know nothing about the first half of that. I have no idea.
Have you ever been there?
No. I don't even know where it is, if I'm being honest.
The Midwest.
Then I will never go there. that desolate wasteland of the country.
It's in Berwyn, Illinois.
Who the hell wants to go to Illinois? Tell me why anyone would want to go to Illinois. Besides Chicago. Chicago's cool.
It's just outside of Chicago. That's so.
Chicago's cool. Great food city in Chicago. What a time.
It's so funny.
I like Chicago, but if you're not going to Chicago, what the fuck are you going to Illinois for?
It's just outside of the city. Let me tell you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Sorry. I don't want to. I'm trying to isolate the Illinoisans here. I'm sure you're all great people, but if you're driven through the Midwest, there's nothing there.
I'm having the giggles. I'm so sorry.
Sorry. My bad.
Oh my God. Okay. So.
Oh, that's where Sean and Shaza had their match. All right. So then I know the place. All right. So yeah, then I know I've seen matches then.
Okay. But yeah, I think I don't know enough about it. I've only
I don't even know like I've heard the name Cruel, but I don't know what I don't even really know much about them.
Basically the police in the town had to get involved because they thought it was real.
So it was a work that he stabbed somebody?
Yeah.
And then it became an issue because people thought he actually stabbed somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question would be, who the fuck are you letting into these wrestling shows as fans that think that this shit is real?
People with
heads. If I'm going to a wrestling show, and you show me someone die, I'm assuming it's a work. I'm assuming it's a work.
Yeah.
But I didn't see the way it got. Did they play it off like it was real? Like were people like? Was everyone around
It's an
ringside
angle.
in
It's a
on this show?
storyline. Yeah, it's an indie storyline.
If you're at the wrestling show, how can you not assume that everything you are watching is not real?
Because outside people don't know that, and then they hear about it, and then they go, "Wow, this is a bad representation of our community."
But there was nobody. Even if you saw a couple fans in there like acting like it was real, the majority of the other people there weren't being like, "Yo, it's cool. Like this is part of the, it's wrestling."
I'm
like
sure people call
how does it get to the point where people call the cops?
Yeah,
that's insane. Again, I didn't see the spot. Maybe it just looked so real. I don't know, but
I don't know enough about it. I just have seen what I've seen online. So, but the wrestlers want to beat up the fan after they did. They created a story that the guy stabbed Cruel. Okay.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, wait. Are we all right? So, wait a minute. Never mind. So this was when I think I did see this. A fan attacked him at like the meet and greet stuff.
That's okay. That makes so much more sense.
And then the whole roster beat the shit out of the guy.
Yeah.
All right, I saw that video. Then I know what we're
talking. I saw that video.
I didn't know much about.
I didn't connect the two.
Yeah, I didn't either. I
like how Clown brought us together. Thank you, Clown, so much.
Thank you for that. Because I'm like sitting here. I'm sitting here like, wait, they did a storyline where somebody got stabbed. And
that's what I thought. That was my impression of it.
That's fair. All right, so that's different. That's different. I'll tell you this though. Royal Rumble weekend, I was at the GCW show where the guy attacked Joey Janela. I was like 10 feet away from it. I was 10, and a similar thing happened. The guy went over there. Janela and Megan Bain were at a table after the show doing signings, like 1:30 in the morning, mind you. And this, all of a sudden, I'm talking to a few people, and like 10 feet away from me, I hear a commotion, and I look over, and some guy flipped over Janela and Bain's table, and Janela picked up the table, and I could see in Janela's eyes, he was like, "Is this real? Like, are we doing this?" And they got in a fight, and most of the GCW roster was out there, and they pummeled that guy. Honestly, and then Calvin tanked him, picked him up like he was an infant.
Yeah,
and walked him outside and walked him to the corner and just said, "Get the fuck out of here."
Lord, I've seen what you've done for others. Yeah. Would love that to be me.
Yeah.
That's the
dream. That's my bad. I did not know that was but I did see that video then.
Thank you for letting us know the whole situation.
Why would that make them shut down? Oh, they can't they just can't have wrestling shows anymore there. Is that what they said?
I'm assuming.
No. That's ridiculous. That wasn't the wrestler's fault. That guy went in there and assaulted somebody. How's that?
But if you can't provide your own security,
I guess. I don't know. My thoughts are that the GoFundMe will get enough.
Yeah, it'll get some traction.
That it'll be fun. They'll be fun.
Do we want to touch on anything else for WrestleMania Night 1? There's 7 matches.
I mean, we're technically not going to be live before Night 1 happens. So, I mean, we talked enough about how Randy. I think Randy's winning that match between you and me. I think Randy is going to, because there is a stipulation that if Cody wins, Pat McAfee will leave the wrestling business.
I don't think that's happening.
I don't think it's happening either. And if you think that that's going to get people to cheer Cody, you are fucking stupid. Stupid. But I think Randy's winning.
Yeah. There's other
there are some good matches.
Celebrity involvement. The Vision, the only remaining members, Logan Paul and Austin Theory. And I Show Speed.
Can I say something about this?
Mm-hmm.
I actually have liked this story with I Show Speed.
Same. I have no idea who this guy is.
Big time streamer. Huge streamer.
Big time streamer. And what my niece has told me, which I get all of my information.
Yeah, the youth are big on like him and Kai Cenat, like those, the youth, they know all those guys.
So she told me that he's like a big reaction streamer. Like they'll play, but then his reaction is,
he does.
So that's like a big thing for him. Okay.
Mhm.
I really liked LA Knight showing up as his house and doing that whole angle, which
Agreed.
to me, that is how you get that crowd, the alpha kids,
Because that was on his
into
stream. That
that
happened
was
on
on
his
his
stream.
stream.
Yes.
And that's the equivalent of like going on Jimmy Fallon for us. And promoting their match, because now I'm watching this stream because these kids, they know when they go live on their stream. They put alerts on their phone. He's going at 2 p.m. So let me do this. And like, I don't care if he's a punk ass kid. I don't care about what his morality is. The fact that iShowSpeed knows his audience and know what will get them. I mean, he's had fucking John Cena on his streams before. Like, he knows what will get people watching.
Mm-hmm.
And so having LA Knight literally throw him into his monitors and desk, like, that didn't look staged to me.
No. And I just think it's been a pretty good story. And it all started with Danhausen cursing him. So that whole element of it is cool. And then, it's turned into, now the only thing that frustrates me about it is I would rather the tag team champions be defending the tag team titles at WrestleMania as opposed to just being in a 6-man where they're not. But it makes, the story has made sense. You're not going to put iShowSpeed in a singles match. So this protects him. Apparently he's been training. So I actually think he'll probably do pretty well in this. And he's in there with 5 guys that are going to protect him. Like the Usos and LA Knight are as veteran guys as you can get. And regardless of how you feel about him, Logan Paul's really good at this shit. And Austin Theory's really good inside that ring. So he's with 5 guys that are going to protect the hell out of him. I expect him to take the phone call. I mean, to take the pinfall. I'm sorry. I expect him to take the pinfall. I mean, I this is, and I think King Dave said it. I think of all the celebrities that are involved at WrestleMania, I think Speed is easily, this is the best use of any of them. And this is going to be on the first hour of night 1, which will be on ESPN2. So this is going to be, which is also smart because iShowSpeed will be shown to a more vast audience, which will get free people in there. And then hopefully maybe that in turn steals, if you can steal a fraction of the people watching for free to actually go watch the rest of the show, we'll see.
Absolutely perfect. We have an unsanctioned match, Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre. Thoughts?
Yeah. This is fine. Only the second unsanctioned match in WrestleMania history. I expect this to be a war. But I expect this to be another big match that Drew McIntyre loses, sadly. But Jacob Fatu he should win. He should get a big moment and a big win. Yeah.
Do you know
this will be good.
The only other unsanctioned match at WrestleMania?
Was it the COVID year?
It's WrestleMania 33.
Oh, God. No, I'm not going to know.
Seth Rollins versus Triple H.
Oh, okay. I remember that.
2017, y'all.
Wow.
That seems like forever ago, but also yesterday. But, interesting timeline for us all. But because Seth Rollins was battling injury, right?
Yeah.
So by their storyline, they had to fight without being legally liable for any injury that Seth Rollins would endure.
That's right. Okay. I remember that now.
I had to look that up earlier. So
because I think that was when like a couple months before that, Seth showed up at a takeover. And he called out this takeover, right? And he called Triple H out and all that stuff. So yeah, I remember that.
Okay. I think we are due for some WrestleMania violence. I don't know about you. Hoping it's not overly produced, hoping that it's not overly garbage. But Jacob Fatu winning is exactly what needs to be happening, because we need next year WrestleMania for Jacob Fatu to beat
Be in it. Yes.
Roman Reigns for the title.
Oh wow! All right,
That's what I want for next year.
Okay, we're about to get a visitor up here, just so we know. There he is.
Oh my goodness! Look at that floof.
Yeah, the fluffy guy.
The floof.
Hey, bub. Hey, bub.
We have 2 women's matches for night 1. We have Stephanie Vicker versus Liv Morgan.
Did you see that gnarly bump on Liv's head after what happened on Monday?
Oh my God. I have.
Damn.
So I
dude.
angle and I was like, oh, she hit her head again.
It was bad. That was rough, man.
So you know how in like old timey cartoons, like when you like hit their head, there would be like that boop noise.
Yep.
That's what I imagined was happening.
Yeah, agreed.
So both of their heads, that little goose egg, and the Lou just wants to be involved. Okay,
he does, but he's about to knock the mic out of. He's about to knock the mic out. I'm like,
Listen, you know, it is time for me to give my opinion. Yes. Liv Morgan's winning. I think that all roads are leading to Liv Morgan. So
I agree. This is it feels like her year. Hopefully she's okay. She's at Coachella with the gang.
Coachella.
Yeah. Yeah. It was I think I saw a video.
Bieber set was shit.
I didn't see it. I saw the some clips from the Sabrina Carpenter one that looked fun.
Sabrina Carpenter Friday night was exactly perfect. I took a little Eddie. I was having a good time.
First of all, just so we understand what I'm dealing with.
Oh my God, this is incredible.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Unbelievable. He's like, oh, you're doing a show right now?
You're doing a show?
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see any clip. I heard he played Baby though for the first time.
Yeah, but he was basically just DJing his own music. Like it really was not. Sabrina Carpenter had the whole shebang. It was a whole dinner service. I was thoroughly entertained. I was sports entertained, if you will, because it looked like a sport with how much she was going around on that stage, and that's a lot of fucking people.
It is.
But I, as a believer, was not impressed with Justin Bieber's set. Sorry, okay. You got paid. Now what? Anyways, AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental Championship. I think this is gonna be. Oh, there's actually 3 women's matches. Sorry, on the first night. So AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. I think that they're gonna play the hits and go home.
I agree. Who do you think wins though? Because I'm kind of torn here. I know AJ just won the title, but this is one of the few matches where I think I could see it going either way.
I could see it going either way. It just depends on if AJ Lee is continuing, right? Is she going to continue through? Because what else would be there for AJ Lee? Who else would want to have a match against her? Is everybody going to try to step up and be like, okay, like this is a dream match between her and Liv Morgan? Is this a dream match between her and Rhea Ripley? Is this a dream match for her versus Stephanie Vicker or Io Sky or Charlotte Flair? You know, like what other matches could AJ Lee do?
I mean, she could do. I mean, listen, there's probably a lot of people on the roster that want to fight AJ. Mm-hmm. I think I'm leaning that AJ does win because I do think I agree with Scott. I think Becky needs to kind of work her way back up to the world title picture, especially if Liv Morgan is gonna. You know, I feel like there's a kind of a window here for Becky to kind of maybe turn babyface again somewhere in the next few months and be like that's a big SummerSlam match to me would be Becky and Liv potentially for the world title. Okay. And if AJ does win, yeah, AJ and Roxanne is a good feud. I think I would like to see AJ have that belt and start fighting some new, younger, fresh people, and then she kind of puts over the next maybe it is Roxanne who takes the belt from her a couple months from now or something like that. I think I would like to see AJ do that, because if she loses the belt, where does AJ go?
Right. That's the thing. If she loses the belt, she just goes home.
Yeah.
She's done. Wipe your hands clean. Bye.
Agreed.
I don't know. I'm going to highlight this. AJ said she wants to wrestle many more women's talent in WWE. There's so many dream matches of all these people who came to WWE because AJ Lee was their dream, like Roxanne.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Would be a good shout out. So I would say AJ Lee. So we do have the women's tag matches listed here. I heard reports that Nikki Bella had an ankle injury, but she seems to be back. There's been no reports that this match has been called off or that Io and Asuka is not going to continue, because I think that that's going to be a night tour. But the Irresistible Forces, the champions, versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Bayley and Lyra versus the Bella Twins. We have been saying this match for months.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you once again, I think the Bella Twins are going to win. They're going to have their WrestleMania moment, and they're going to go all the way to SummerSlam, and then they're going to have their goodbye. I love you. We're really retiring now. That's what I think's happening.
Not a bad choice at all. And this is a completely a choice I'm picking with my heart, not my head. I think Bayley and Lyra win.
Bayley. She's your girl.
She's my girl. They're both. I love them both, but Bayley's my girl. Bayley's my girl.
She's been taking the last couple episodes. Episodes. Yes. It technically is an episode of television. Right?
Yeah. So
I'm sorry.
My thing is, last year Bayley got screwed out of teaming with Lyra to go for the women's tag titles. So I think it would be a poetic ending for Bayley and Lyra to actually win the tag titles this year at Mania. I think that would be a good little bow to the story. Unless you wanted Bayley to turn on Lyra or Lyra to turn on Bayley during the match, maybe, or like lean into that if you wanted. But I think them winning I think that would be a great moment, them a year later, especially for Bayley, winning the tag titles at WrestleMania when she got kind of hosed out of it last year. So.
I mean, here's the thing. It's like Bayley, for me, was always a SmackDown girly. So when she moved to Raw, I feel like she really became the pillar of the Raw roster. People have looked up to her. A lot of people's best matches when they first came to Raw, I think, were their best matches. A really good showcase of Roxanne. Julia, maybe? I don't know. But her teaming with Lyra is really great. I feel like they have chemistry. I just hate that, like, Bayley is just the Natalia right now.
Yeah. And that's not where, and again, this is not a knock on Natalia, but that is not where someone of Bayley's caliber should ever be.
Because
maybe at like the very
she's
end.
A champion.
Yeah, like maybe like at the very end of her career, but she is nowhere near the end of her career. Like she still should be, and still is, in my opinion, kind of at her peak. So
she and I are like the same age. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So, I mean, she's primed and ready. She hasn't really gotten like. Well, I would say that she has been injured before. A couple times, but
her knees,
her knee, and that was a freak accident or whatever.
Yeah,
that happened. So I don't know. I'm still gonna go for the Bella Twins, but I want more for Bailey.
I agree. I want everything for Bailey.
The only other match that we haven't talked about is Seth versus Gunther, which I'm not excited about.
You're not? Oh, I think this is gonna be the best match of the night.
I think it will be because it's Seth Rollins and Gunther, but
Can I tell you why you should be excited about this match?
Okay. Yes.
The A plans for WrestleMania did not work out for either of these gentlemen.
Correct. That's why I'm kind of
so them kind of being thrown into a match quickly together. Not the most ideal situation, but if you could have two guys that are going to go out there and maybe have the best match of the weekend, it's these two guys, right?
That's true.
However, you should be excited because Braun Breaker is going to return and cost Seth Rollins this match.
I love Braun Breaker.
So that's part one. That's part one why you should be excited for this match. And then part two why you should be excited for this match is because that will lead Gunther to get a victory. And then Gunther's going to go, Mr. Heyman, you owe me. And I want your boy, Brock Lesnar, at SummerSlam in his hometown of Minneapolis, and I'm going to retire his ass. And that's where we're going here. That's me.
Go. Yes, retire him. 10 seconds. Goodbye. That's it. Goodbye.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that the match of WrestleMania weekend I'm not looking forward to the most has that man in it. Because him and Oba is the match that I'm looking forward to the most. It's been the best build. And I know we're going to talk about night 2 next week. We'll review night 1 in Dynasty and we'll preview night 2. So we'll talk more in depth about that. But that is easily been the best build and booked match of all of WrestleMania is Brock and Oba. And it is the match I am looking forward to the most. And it's not even close, personally. And I feel a certain way about it, but it is what it is.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
but anyway, yes, Gunther should retire Brock Lesnar in 5 minutes at SummerSlam in Minneapolis, and him beating Seth Rollins, thanks to Braun, will be the catalyst in us getting there. I do believe that.
I would like to see one F5
right at the beginning of Oba.
Yeah, and then him immediately kick out at one.
What if he kicks out before one?
That's gonna be me.
What if he kicks out before one? Can we talk about that?
I'm into it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, let's jump into this AEW card because it is really long. There
are they added like 17 matches last night, I heard, or something like that. On a Sunday night at 8:00.
Yeah, we have 3 pre-show matches. Well, 0-hour matches listed here. Alex Windsor and Marina Shafir, which more women's matches.
That should be to me. That should be on the main card.
It should be on the main card, and there should have been more build. However, Alex Windsor versus Marina Shafir, I'm excited for it. Those girls are going to beat the absolute piss out of each other, and I'm into it.
Can I ask you a question? Is Marina going to actually win something?
Right?
Because she should win this match.
She should win this match.
I loved what they did on Dynamite, though, with that brawl at the beginning of the show with the United
brawl
Empire.
At the end? Oh, my God.
And I loved how they showed Windsor and Ospreay on screen for the first time. Everything about it I loved. And then it led to the crazy match at the end and awesome. This is going to be fun. I hope this is the last match of the show. For the love of God, Tony, do not do...
No bleed over?
Don't fucking do it, dude. All right? Don't.
I think we're over it. I think the nostalgia has worn off.
Yes. However, I'm picking Marina Shafir because I think Alex Windsor, the Brawling Birds are going to be heading towards the tag titles. So I don't, and we'll talk about the other member of the Brawling Birds later, but I don't think either of them necessarily need to win their matches tonight because they're a tag team now and they'll succeed on that realm. Marina, to me, has been waiting for a big win for 5 months.
We need it. We need it.
And I know it's a pre-show, but we need her to get a big win. She should win this match. I'm picking Marina. If she doesn't win, what are we doing? What are we doing if she doesn't win?
We have another match. Jack Perry, your national champion, versus Mark Davis. This is Jack Perry's first title defense for the national title, correct?
I think so. I don't hold me to that. I could be wrong, but I
could
think
be wrong
so. Yes.
too. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. And if someone in the chat says it before me, I will give you $5.
Don't say that.
And I'm correct. This is his first title defense since getting the championship. In that 21, I can't say it, 21-man blackjack battle royal.
Fair. Jack Perry's winning this.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. He's
I
so
love
over.
Mark Davis, though. I love Mark Davis, though. Big fan.
Yeah. I think Mark Davis is really the true heart, the chutzpah of the Don Callis family, as they are all kind of having some feuding. I think Mark Davis is really holding down the fort, so to speak.
Agreed.
And I think that there's going to be some shenanigans, but I'm all for Jack Perry. So
agreed.
All right, we have the Divine Dominion of Lena Cross and Megan Bain versus Hyan and Maya World. Can I just say, I posted on the Twitter sphere, right? And because my husband and I were talking about, like, because they just had this like promo package for Hyan and Maya World. What a wonderful world that they have cultivated for themselves. They really have. They came in as just per appearance, right? Yep. We know who didn't want to go out on their back, that they're no longer signed or their offer was rescinded. But they really said, no, we'll go out on our back. We'll lose. We just want to be here. They're on ROH. They're on AEW. They're on Collision. They're on Dynamite. Like, they have really taken the opportunity and said, yeah, we'll do anything that you want. And I think that Tony Khan really appreciates people who are willing to check their egos at the door for what is best for the storyline, even if it means going out on their back or not being the main character. We've seen it time and time again where people come into AEW, they don't want to lose, so they don't show up.
Yep.
They aren't featured. And then you hear these stories about Miro, and Miro saying, no, like, that's not how it went. And we see that with Malachi Black, that he didn't want to go out on his back. You see these things, these stories that are being told. And what Tony Khan really wants is a team player. And I'm going to tell you guys, all jobs are going to be like that. If you are willing to go, you know what? Yes, I will push myself. I want to do this. Like, I will do anything. And within reason. Like, don't just like forego your boundaries. But any job is going to appreciate you putting your ego to the side and going, yeah, I'll do anything. With that said.
If you're, listen, in any form, if you're not a team player,
no one wants to work with you.
Nobody wants you around. So, it is what it is. I agree with you. I think that they've earned this pay-per-view spot, pre-show or not, because they stepped in and they've done everything that's been asked of them. With that being said, they're going to lose in 2 minutes. I don't think this will be competitive at all. And the champions will dominate their way to another victory as we continue to move forward to them and the Birds, which I hope is kind of a long form. I want more than just a one match and move on to the next thing feud for the mid-card titles in general and the tag titles. I think the Brawling Birds and the Divine Dominion having a multi-month, multi-match feud for those tag titles would be refreshing to that scene. And I think that that's what should happen. But I agree with everything you said about these two, Hyan and Maya World. They've earned the right to have this because they have played ball and gone out on their backs and done everything that's been asked. And then boy, oh boy, they're going to go out on their backs tonight, and it will be quick.
Yeah, it will be. But I mean, it's to further Lena and Megan's win
dominance
category.
100%.
I know that the chat is talking about how they beat the Inspiration. The Inspiration, if you've been watching Ring of Honor, which none of you probably are, because no one else is talking about it when I want to talk about it. But the Inspiration have been on Ring of Honor, which is not a bad thing. It's not a lesser than to me. but they've been winning. So to have them lose to Hyan and Maya World, I'm very shocked.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm excited for the AEW women's division. Come on, Tony, book more women's matches. Okay, you ready to talk about this main card?
Oh, I am ready.
All right. We have, what is this? 9?
I think so.
9 matches on the main card proper. First one, FTR versus Cope and Cage for your AEW World Tag Team Championship. Who do you have winning and why?
And new.
Yes.
Yes, I think Copeland, Christian.
Sorry.
I can't believe I just called him that. I think Copeland and Christian get it done tonight. I expect this match to be pretty damn good. Although I've heard FTR is real pissed about Christian banging their moms.
Honestly,
that's what he said multiple times. I've heard. That's what he said.
He's on my list.
Don't hate a player. Yeah, don't hate the player. Hate the game. I was gonna say, do you have a pass list with your hubs? Mm-hmm. You got a 5? Is it a 5 or a 3? How many people?
It's a 5.
And Christian's on it.
Christian is on there. Kenny Omega's on there. Finn Balor's on there.
Are they all wrestlers?
Yeah, they're all wrestlers except one is Pedro Pascal.
Well, then he's not a wrestler, so they're not all wrestlers. You just lied to my face. Just lied.
They're all except Pedro Pascal.
So 4 out of 5 are wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
So Kenny Omega, you said. Christian, you said. Finn Balor. The Demon or just Finn Balor?
Oh my God.
Oh. One last thing. Yeah. One last thing. I know we're talking AEW. What the hell was that? You give me a nice vignette on Monday night teasing the Demon coming back, and I'm like, oh shit, the Demon.
Oh, shit,
and then you just throw it on Twitter like it's fucking nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Kiss my ass.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all right, I digress. That's then. So who's the 4th wrestler? Who's the 4th wrestler?
Chris Statlander.
Fair, that's a good choice.
She makes me weak.
In the knees?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wanna die, pass out anytime that she's on television. I cannot.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I think Copeland and Christian are doing it, and then I think we're either getting them straight up against the Bucks at Double or Nothing, or we're getting these 3 teams in potentially a TLC type match, 25th anniversary of the TLC at WrestleMania 17 this year. I think we're getting a ladder match, whatever they would call. You can't call it a TLC.
I need the old guys who are in their 50s to protect.
Well, listen. If they do some sort of ladder match or TLC version of match at Double or Nothing, Edge has to do the spear off the ladder.
Oh my God.
He has to.
Every time
that would be the one
spot
of the match you would have to recall. Would have to be the one.
Oh my God.
Nick Jackson or something hanging from the and then boom, just nails him. With that being said, yes, Copeland and Christian, I expect this to be really good. I think Stokely's going to get his ass beat tonight at some point during this match.
I'm into that.
But I think we get new champions. I could see this opening the show as well. Canada, get kind of Copeland and Christian right out there to start the show, get the crowd jacked up, new champions. I think that's what we're getting here. I know that will make you very, very happy. So
it will make me very happy. Listen, if they win, I will bring a sign on Wednesday that said wrestling made me cry. I will do that, even though I probably won't be on TV because I'm not camera side.
Mike, I get it. Mike, I get that. I get it. We like Colin said, we want to protect our old men.
I want to keep him away. I want to keep him healthy.
If you are having a ladder match or a TLC, whatever you're going to call that type of match, the one spot that you would need to have a recall on the 25th anniversary is the damn spear.
Yeah.
I would be okay with 2 other guys in the match doing it and maybe not Edge doing it, but it would make sense that Copeland would be the one that would do it. Just wear extra knee pads or something. Figure it out.
Okay, but do you remember in Sting's last match? The height that he jumped from?
Yeah.
That crazy motherfucker? That's what I think that these guys are. They're all crazy.
Yeah.
They're all crazy.
Yeah.
We have a singles match for the AEW Continental Championship. Jon Moxley versus Will Ospreay.
I'm very torn about this one.
Okay. His vignette, is it a vignette, backstage, whatever? I don't know. Him without his tooth with
Yeah.
with the Death Riders behind him, I was like, oh no, Will Ospreay's losing.
This whole time, I thought for sure Ospreay was winning. Like I was so confident. No, when Ospreay first came back, and it was pretty apparent pretty early on that this was the direction they were going. In my brain, I was like, this is a no-brainer that Ospreay's winning. But over the last couple weeks, I think Bonkers just nailed it. I think it's anything but. I think we're either getting a draw or we're getting a Moxley win. And because I think the long-term story for Will is he's going to win the Owen, and then he's going to win the title from MJF at All In England. That makes incredible sense to me. Not saying he can't win this belt and then lose it on the way to that. He can. But I think maybe he loses this match, and then he's like, ooh, can I actually do this with my neck? And like, is this going to be, he gets some doubt in him, that typical, like, give him some more sympathy with the audience. So I actually have flipped completely, and I think I'm picking Moxley.
What did you think of the United Empire being featured? You loved it?
Loved it. Youngest NJPW heavyweight champion of all time.
IWGP heavyweight champion, which that belt is 23. Very beautiful.
It's one of the prettiest, if not the prettiest, in all the land. I did not. He won it over the weekend, so it was kind of a new thing. But 23 years old, youngest champ ever in the history of that belt. That's crazy.
It's kind of also kind of crazy that like this time last year, Goto had the IWGP, then Zack Sabre Jr., then Takeshita after he won the G1. Then Tsuji won it.
And Tsuji didn't hold it for long at all. He didn't hold it for long.
90 days. Isn't that crazy that like we watched that in January?
I was gonna say, it felt like
year.
It felt like that was gonna be like he was gonna be the guy for a while when he won that. And then a couple months later, we got this young new 23-year-old. Is he Australian like Will, or is he English? I don't know what he is. American? I have no idea. I don't know much about him. I don't know much about him besides the fact that he's kind of in the United Empire and he's kind of a protege of Will. And
I think he's from Essex because he kind of has that accent from Essex. Sorry guys, I'm really bad at accents, so if I completely offended you, I'm really sorry.
We couldn't tell.
But I think Callum Newman versus Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door, which is typically in June, right? So
that'd be a good little match.
That would be great. That would be wonderful. And if we get to June, then it could be for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Will Ospreay is a former IWGP champion, and he only held it for 46 days. So by the time we get to June, we could have am I going to have a longer reign than you? Wait, June is 2 months. Never mind. That's 60 days.
It would make sense still. And I think Will would put the kid over, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
Will would put the kid over. But I think again this completely swapped on me. But I'm picking Moxley now. But this whole time up until the last couple of weeks ago, I was full on board with Ospreay winning this thing. Completely flipped with everything.
Yeah. So cheers to Jon Moxley. Hopefully he can get his tooth fixed. I don't know. The guy seems like he likes not having part of his tooth.
Yeah. I'm sure Renee does too.
We have another singles match over here. Andrade El Idolo is Darby Allin. If Darby Allin wins, he'll receive a future AEW World Championship match. Who do you have winning and why?
Well, that stipulation is why I am picking Darby Allin.
Unfortunately, I think that's the reason why I think Darby is going to win. it just
I
sucks
need a regular wrestling match from Darby here. I can't have the typical Darby dies the first 10 minutes of this match and then he sneaks a fucking cradle. Listen, Andrade is in the ring is unbelievable. I think this is the best
Correct.
I've seen him in his whole career, at least for me watching him. Since he's returned to AEW here,
Same.
I need to see just a regular wrestling match from Darby. I know he has it in him. He's done it before. You want to take, whatever, but I think Darby wins, and I think Darby's going to be fighting for the world championship in the main event of Double or Nothing next month. I think that's what is going to be happening. We'll talk about who he'll be facing later. But
I don't want Darby.
I would like Andrade to win, but Andrade doesn't get a title match if he wins. It's only if Darby
Correct. Wins. You put a stipulation in there, and now I go, oh, okay, Darby's winning.
Exactly. And I think that's what we're getting, and that'll be Double or Nothing will be Darby fighting. You could probably guess who we'll pick later, but Darby fighting the champ next month in Double. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, speaking of champs, this is for the AEW Women's World Championship, Tekla versus Jamie. Right? They've had a match before, Jamie Hayter.
They haven't had. Oh, I think they might have. Jamie Hayter was taken out by Tekla on her debut.
Oh, that's why I'm like, yeah, it's a rematch.
And then I think
she was taken out by her,
didn't she? Because Hayter got hurt, I think, and they took her out. I don't know. I don't remember or know if they've had a match. I don't watch Collision regularly, so I don't know if they had a match like when Hayter first came back. But this is going to be good. They're going to beat the shit out of each other. These two.
That's all I want to see is them beat the shit out of each other. I
Wrestle Dream King Dave in the chat says they fought at
Thank you.
I think Tekla retains here. I think this is kind of one of the easier picks of the evening. Yeah.
I did feel a little crazy.
Yeah. To me, this is one of the easier picks of the evening, I feel like. I think Tekla retains. Same way I feel about Windsor in the pre-show. I think the Brawling Birds are destined to be tag champions sooner than later.
I agree.
So I think that Hayter will take the L here, and Tekla will continue in what I think is an underrated title reign here. I think she's doing some real good work here. Did we see Mercedes tonight?
She's got no belts.
Correct. Does she need to fight back? Like, can she show up after this match and stare Tekla down as a babyface potentially? Or could the Sisters of Sin be taking out Hayter and then Windsor, and it's 2-on-3, and Mercedes evens the odds and has a stare down with Tekla? Because I have always said that Mercedes would eventually lose all these belts, but I think when Mercedes finally wins the AEW World Championship, she's going to be a babyface when she does it. And I think that this would be the way and the person for her to defeat as the babyface champion potentially next month at Double or Nothing in New York City.
I would agree. Yes.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So do we see her tonight? Do you think we see her?
Yes. Let me say yes, because
say yes, girl.
I'm going to say yes because we need some excitement going into summertime. So
yeah.
We need a Mercedes fighting for
yes, we do.
For that AEW World Championship. So.
And then what you can give me at All In, Tony, if you hear me, is a babyface Mercedes Moné champion against Athena. Thank you. So
that's all we ask. See? Easy booking
simple.
Right there.
Very simple ask. It's have Athena win the Owen. Have Athena win the Owen. And I want a babyface Mercedes as champion against Athena. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm into it. Okay. All right. We have a casino gauntlet match for the vacant AEW TNT championship. Earlier this week, we found out that our bud, Kyle Fletcher, out with a meniscus injury, which the chat was just like, I'll give you my knee. Here's my knee. I take all your pain and give it to me, because nobody wanted to see.
No, it's unfortunate.
Kyle Fletcher go through this. We only have our first 2 entrants listed here. Tommaso Ciampa won the number 1 spot, and Rush last night won the number 2 spot in this gauntlet match. Who do you think is going to win? Who else is going to be in this gauntlet?
Well, I think something happened on Collision last night. And a certain trios team lost their trios titles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all right, going into this match before last night, I thought it was going to be Ciampa or a returning Jay White. That's who I thought.
Yes.
However, because the trios championships were lost last night, I think Speedball has a good chance to win this belt tonight in Canada, like Ophelia and Peggy just said. But I am picking Kevin Knight, pinning Speedball.
Okay, literally last conversation with my husband and I go, oh, they lost the title, so yes, they're falling out literally tomorrow.
You know who else isn't on this pay-per-view tonight? Swerve. You know what I've been saying for months? That Swerve was going to poison the brain of one Kevin Knight. They lost the trios titles for the second time in the last month or so. Kevin Knight is going to I think he's going to pin Speedball to win. And I don't know if that means he does something dastardly or it leads to them having a fragmented relationship, but Kevin Knight is going to win. And I think he's going to pin Speedball or do something to Speedball to help him win.
Sorry, I'm having a physical response to this because I thought that I was being a genius here, uncovering all the little secret little Easter eggs.
You were being a genius because we are both geniuses.
It's been coming. It's been coming. And guess who also is looking for recruitments? The Hurt Syndicate.
Sure. That could work too for Kevin Knight.
They're back to hurt people.
Yeah.
But I know that we've seen the layers.
If you're telling me that we potentially are staring at a Kevin Knight versus Speedball match for the TNT Championship at Double or Nothing, you can shoot that right into my fucking veins.
Absolutely.
Right in.
Let's go, baby. Can I tell you, remember last year during it was during the C2 where we got
that match in the C2.
We got that match and I said, hey, Tony Khan, I want this proper. Like, I don't want this just here. And it was one of my favorite matches because they are just toe for toe, move for move, compatible, right? They know each other. And now if we see a Kevin Knight being heel.
If they do this right, you have like Kevin Knight and Speedball could be your next like feud where they just like, not all the time, but they just cross paths for the next decade. And they just fight about like that's how I view this. That's how I really view these.
I'm crying over here. Sorry.
That's how I view. I'm like, these guys came in as huge signings. Came as a tag
I'm so
team.
proud of them.
They got over as a tag team and over as single guys immediately. Yeah. And you can tell how much Tony values them as part of the company. They are both going to be future world champions. And I see them like this could be like one of those feuds, man, that when they finally do break up, which I think it'll be Kevin Knight is the one that goes heel with Swerve. I just think that this is like these guys can be intertwined for the rest of their careers in AEW if they want. I look at them and I'm like, that's Hangman and Swerve 2.0.
So 2.0. I think the writing that we're seeing on the wall, right? Because this last week we saw that Lance Archer, his deal is set to expire. And I was like, that's kind of shitty because he's been a pillar of like the big man division of AEW. But then I thought, how many big guys have come into this division? There were so many talented people. And I really, truly believe that Tony Khan is finding those diamonds in the rough, the younger talent mixing with the older talent, that in 5 years, we're not going to be relying on a Kenny Omega. You know, we're not going to be. He might not even be wrestling.
You look at all the guys, Christian, Copeland, Kenny Omega.
They're going to be gone.
And there's more. They're all, there's guys that like you need that next crop of dudes. And I look at Kevin Knight, I look at Speedball. They're two of those. Kyle Fletcher, even though he's injured. Takeshita. You have those younger-ish, even though Takeshita's not super young, but you have those guys of your next batch of guys. And I look at these two, and man, I think one of them is going to win this title tonight. I just lean Kevin Knight.
I lean Kevin Knight as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, had they not lost the 6-man, I was going to go into this going, just give it back to Ciampa.
And that's where I was give it back to Ciampa, or give me like Jay White coming back and winning or something like that. But then once they lost those belts last night, which I think was the right call with the dogs. Yeah. Probably wouldn't have had the dogs lose their fucking pay-per-view debut though. Idiots. So like, just come on. What are we doing? But whatever. The dogs are the champs. Makes sense. They're a good trio. They should be the champs for a while. Once they lost those belts, I was like, I just thought that they immediately were my two favorites to win tonight. So, yeah.
Okay. Well,
they can't call him that, Mike. They can't call him. And Isaiah, welcome in, brother. Glad you stumbled in. Have a good time. We're talking Dynasty right now. They're just the dogs, bro. They can't call them the War Dogs. That's New Japan.
Do you know how many different iterations of the Bullet Club we have in AEW now?
I think at least 3.
We have at least 3 because we have Bullet Club Gold and the Elite.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just want to see, like, sometime soon, Kenny Omega versus Jay White versus
Okada.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
But David Finlay.
Oh,
because they're all the leaders of their own.
Yeah, the former leaders.
So. Would love to see that. R.I.P. Bullet Club. We do have 4 more matches left on this card to talk about. We have our just a regular tag team match, the Young Bucks versus the Don Callis family, and those representing is Okada and Takeshita.
Can they coexist?
Can they coexist?
Joe Pearl, can they coexist?
They're not going to coexist. Come on.
No. Can I tell you though? I actually think it's going to be Takeshita that leaves tonight. I think the Young Bucks pin Okada.
Oh,
because they were used to be friendly and together on screen. I think that's what happens. I think tonight it's Takeshita's the one that leaves, and then because the easy thing to do. Okada's they're both heel, but Okada's the heel.
Mm-hmm.
So Okada's the one that walks out. I think they give us a little. I think they reverse it, and I think Takesha's the one that bows out. He goes, "I'm done with this guy," because Don Callis said on Wednesday, because Takeshita was like, "I don't want to team with them," and Callis is like, "We're doing this for Fletcher. Think of Kyle. We're doing it for Kyle.
Think of Kyle. We're doing everything for Kyle." Yeah.
And that's what he said. And Takeshita said, "Fine, but I want that belt." And Callis said, "Okay, well, if you guys team up," he didn't say if you team up and beat the Bucks. He just said if you team up and you fight the Bucks at Double or Nothing, you two can fight for the belt. So we already know that's happening at Double or Nothing now. I think Takesha's the one getting out of there.
Yeah, so it was one of those things that I had to go back because I was like, oh, obviously they're winning. And my husband goes, no. He didn't say if you win.
Nope.
He said,
just
if you guys team up,
yep,
then you can have it. And I think that that's what we're leading to. And oh my God, that match at Double or Nothing is going to hump so much.
And let me preface this. Before the shenanigans happen in this match tonight, this match is going to fucking rule.
It's going to be so good.
This is going to be bananas with these 4 guys. All right. Like this is going to be as good as we can imagine this being. It is going to be that good. And then we'll get to the nonsense where they don't coexist and the Bucks.
Last time we saw the Young Bucks versus El Clone and Hechicero, and that match last night on Collision was probably the best match on Collision because it was so fucking good. Had no reason to be that good.
It's a thrown together match, and they're like, "Yeah, all right." Like,
it's fine. Yeah. And no one has titties like Hechicero because he is just titties with legs to me. And he is so scary when he wrestles, but you don't see an issue here with how the Young Bucks are going. Especially shout out to fucking Nick Jackson because he took that nasty ass bump on the outside and sir, You have children.
Nick Jackson is totally a guy that if he really wanted to, he could have been multi-time world champion in any federation he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, and I know a lot of people hate him for whatever reasons, I think the Bucks are at worst the top 3 tag team of all time. At worst. At worst. Maybe the best ever. But at worst, they're top 3. And you know,
I just unloosened my mic.
they're gonna prove it. They're gonna prove again tonight. You know.
I got too excited about that and I loosened my mic. So sorry for all your headphone wears.
Okay. But yeah, this is gonna be.
It's gonna be great. And
oh my God,
I love the matches that are leading to something else. That we're talking about All In. That we're talking about Forbidden Door. We're talking about Double or Nothing. Mm-hmm. We're talking about things that could happen in the future and the repercussions. I love that about wrestling. I love that.
Me too. Me too.
Okay, we have touched on already Chris Jericho versus Ricochet. Are we officially saying Chris Jericho over Ricochet?
Yes.
Okay, that's all that needs to be said. Because we're the Judas in your mind. Oh, last night we did see the conglomeration throw it down for the AEW Trios Championship. You saw them on the phone, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong. Well, Orange Cassidy on the phone, and he forgot to ask their tag team partner. The conglomeration versus the Dogs.
It's got to be Kyle. It's got to be Kyle O'Reilly.
It's got to be Kyle O'Reilly, right? They're in Vancouver. Come on.
Yeah, it has to be. I don't know if I know he was hurt. Is he? I haven't heard much about him.
He was out.
He was out with an injury, but I haven't heard anything about him being cleared or anything like that. But I would assume it has to be Kyle O'Reilly tonight. But I think regardless of that, they're not winning, right? The Dogs literally just won these things.
It's gonna suck that he's coming back. To.
Or is it Adam Cole? Could it be Adam Cole?
No, his head is too. He and I are the same. 6 concussions, baby.
Yeah. I don't think it's not going to be. I did see. But I did see a Fightful Select report on Adam Cole, and usually sometimes when Fightful mentions a name that we haven't heard about in a while, they show up on television. But I can't imagine it would be Adam Cole. I think it just kind of has to be Kyle O'Reilly.
So Kyle O'Reilly revealed in December per Fightful that he was dealing with bulging discs in his neck, but he has been since cleared.
Yeah, so that's good.
Same thing, bulging discs. Y'all are the same.
The worst.
Yeah, I think Kyle O'Reilly being from Vancouver is going to get a good pop. Unfortunately, something's happening with Orange Roderick relationship here. Can't really put my finger on it because they kind of have packed this storyline a little bit too much. But the Dogs winning last night, it would suck for them to lose.
Oh yeah, big time. I don't think they're going to lose. I think it's going to be Kyle, but I think, I thought Roderick Strong was going to turn on the conglomeration for a while, and then he just kind of returned and has been with them. I don't know if maybe that happens tonight. Could we see Kyle come back and turn? I'm not really sure, but I think the Dogs are not losing.
Yeah,
match. They're just not.
Well, we have one more match to speak of. We have MJF, your AEW World Champion, versus my guy, Kenneth Omega. This is it. This is going
to be so good.
This match is really going to show us if Kenny Omega is main event still. Mm-hmm. I know that he has mentioned that he wants to be in the main event scene. He wants to have that championship. And I think what's going to happen this summer, because we all know by All In, Will Ospreay is going to win that world championship. Okay?
100%.
We know that that's going to happen. So how do we get from A to B? We need Kenny Omega as champion. And I'm going to sit here until I'm blue in the face to say I need in 2026 Kenny Omega to be champion. And did you watch the road to AEW Dynasty that showed after the Collision?
No, I'm gonna
episode
watch. I'm gonna watch that this afternoon.
They slow-mo the blood spot with Kenny Omega where he's like coughing up blood. I hate it so much because I'm gonna get emotional again. I hate seeing Kenny Omega hurt like that. Like, take all of his pain and put it on all the dog shit people of our lives, every ex-boyfriend I've ever had, every ex-girlfriend I've ever had, every foe of mine. Give Kenny Omega's pain to anyone else but Kenny Omega because he should be protected at all costs. However, Kenny Omega is going to win and they're going to do something stupidly sick. And I'm not going to be physically well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you right now. But I want Kenny to win. I absolutely money on it. Kenny should win.
Don't put too much money on it because he ain't.
Fuck MJF.
I know you're not the biggest MJF guy or girl, I should say. But
I'm a guy here.
Yeah, whatever. I know you're not the. I know you're not the biggest MJF person.
Mm-hmm.
But this is going to be an incredible match. And I think there are going to be many times in this match where it is going to look like Kenneth is going to win this AEW title.
No.
But he is not going to win this AEW title.
Stop.
MJF is gonna hang on to this puppy at least until All In when he loses to Will. And then I think we get Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega at Wrestle Dream. Potentially towards the end of the year, maybe in your neck of the woods even.
I'm hoping. Bring back Wrestle Dream. Bring it back to Climate Pledge Arena so that I can take the link. Because where I'm moving, guys, I'm within walking distance of the train.
Yeah. I think Hammerstone's a good one. I think MJF is going to get maybe a Wardlow coming back and helping him again, or Hammerstone would be good. I think something's going to happen where I thought it was going to be Jericho before I kind of saw the direction they went with Jericho. Because I thought Jericho and Omega kind of in a rematch at Double or Nothing is a big enough match for both of them to not be in a title picture at that show. But I think a Wardlow return. I think a Hammerstone. It's MJF. You know if there's going to be some sort of shenanigans. Omega stole the ring from him at the end of Dynamite, so he can't use the ring to cheat because Omega has it. So, that's why I said Wardlow as well, like Peggy just said, because American Gladiators debuts this week on television. So if Wardlow were to make a return, it's a way for MJF to get another heater. You reunite that thing. Wardlow's back on television to help promote American Gladiators.
Because he needs to promote that.
Yep. I could see Swerve. Mark just mentioned Swerve. I could see Swerve getting, there's ways they could go, but I know you're not going to like it, but I think this is a match where MJF is just going to remind everybody that he's not all talk.
No.
He's not just all talk, and he's one of the best in-ring wrestlers in the world as well. And he's going to win.
It's me throwing my headphones, but I'm not actually throwing my headphones, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's AEW Dynasty. We have some difference, and I like that. I'm into that.
Yeah. People are saying that Kenny dropped the ring at the end. Did he? I don't know. Whatever. That was stupid if he did.
Don't do
Take it. Why would you give the ring back when you know this guy wins with the ring 78% of the time?
And we know Kenny Omega can be a bad guy.
What are you doing? You literally took the ring from him. What, just to kiss it and do your little pose? Take that shit with you. Makes no sense.
Well, I think this is going to be great as we go into the road to Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing being in Queens, New York. Honestly, here's my qualm.
Yes.
I wanted to go so bad to Double or Nothing.
I think I'm going
it's in Queens.
Yeah.
However, I'm moving literally the next week. Guys, I have to take down all of this week.
Yeah,
that's my next step is The Office.
Yeah.
And I'm really sad about it. because this has really truly been like my little home for the last 5 years. So I took apart our book cases last night,
Mhm.
which the key is, by the way, smaller boxes for books because you don't
Agreed.
want a big box for books. Um, I did go a little bit down memory lane. So if you are following me on Instagram, I posted some real great gems over there. Um, but I don't know. Moving makes me sad. I'm excited because I'm moving to a house, getting out of an apartment. Get me out of here, guys. But yeah, I'm nervous for tonight. I'm nervous because if Kenny doesn't win, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, I agree.
And who is leaving
Well, here,
GCW?
I mean, I think it would be
Allie.
Allie. I think
I
she's
think
going to
it's
leave.
Allie.
I think Allie could be either in WWE or AEW.
I think she's WWE bound. She already
I
had
think
that
she is
WWE
too.
ID match. So
Yeah, I think she is going to be a WWE person, Allie, sooner than later. And good for her. She's great. She rules.
let's not.
Yeah.
Let's not.
But look I think tonight's going to be another look at AEW. Don't miss with the pay-per-views. Collins,
Right.
I think tonight's going to be
It's
a good
just
one.
too long.
Yeah, on a Sunday, being an East Coast guy, yeah, I'm going to be very upset when this main event is starting at 12:30 at night.
I'm never going to be mad about too much wrestling. I'm just an adult who goes to a job early in the morning. So.
Correct. Me too. So.
Anyways, well, tell the. Oh, am I stuttering? Okay, JPJ, what do you got going on?
Well, I'll be live on my channel at some point later this afternoon before Dynasty. I don't know if I'll be on live the whole Dynasty show, pending on how late it goes, but I will be live kind of playing some games, hanging out on my Twitch, watching along to the show. So if you are watching and you want to come see me play a baseball game kind of terribly, that's probably what I'll be doing. But you can find me. Obviously, you can find us here every Sunday afternoon, but you can find me Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, over on Love Wrestling CA with my main squeeze pluggo Between Two Beards, the flagship show for Love Wrestling over there. You can find me on bodyslam.net after Monday Night Raws on Mondays with the Raw Dogs. And Jose just left me on Dynamite Up, so we're going to be taking a small little break as I kind of figure out who's going to be with me kind of in the future, hopefully coming back around Double or Nothing time. So a little break here, but you can find me on Body Slam on Wednesdays as well after Dynamite for Dynamite Up. And then, just follow me right here. You'll see I do Twitch a lot. I do all sorts of stuff. So if you follow me here, you'll get my schedule. You'll see where I'm at.
You're
I try to do
going live.
Yeah, I try to do a lot. I try to keep my time full. So, yeah.
Well, you guys can find me anywhere there's social media _queer auntie. I'm here every Sunday talking wrestling, going coast to coast with you. Mondays, I have a little podcast with my friend Natalie called Peak Millennials Podcast. We talk about things that are nostalgia. This week, we're doing like hey, where have we been? Because we had to take 2 weeks off because of life and schedules and stuff. So we have a lot to catch up on. I want to show you some cute little things that I got at SakuraCon because if you didn't know, I love anime and I went to an anime convention and I got some really cute things. I got some Heated Rivalry merch.
Very nice. Very nice.
It's so cute. It's so cute. So we're going to talk about things like that. We're going to be talking about life update. So you won't want to miss that episode if you want to know things that are going on in my life and in Natalie's life. You really will like Natalie. She's a little garden gnome. So, we talk about gardening, and my kind of gardening is very different than her kind of gardening. So you'll want to tune into that. And right now, Collins on the Rocks podcast is on a little bit of a hiatus because I am moving. And a lot of my free time has been packing and moving, but I have a maybe thing coming in store on Thursdays instead. Maybe. We'll see.
Thursdays? How dare you?
Yeah, on Thursdays. It'll be good. Yeah, I'm straight up competing with Between Two Beards. So
Can't never have you on the show anymore now. Can't believe it.
But y'all, this is Fightful Overbooked. This is the place that you're going to find all of your additional wrestling content with your favorite people. In the Weeds is on here. Joel, Jeremy, SP3. They make a little rotation and they're here Monday through Friday. Coexisting with Rob and Maggie is here usually on Fridays. And then you find us, your cute little faces. As I'm looking at our little logo, our little Coast to Coast logo, our cute little faces, you're going to want to tune in every single day. So check that notification bell or subscribe, like us. Okay, hold on. Beep. Like, share, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you know when we go live, because we do go live every single day. And if you love wrestling and you love talking about wrestling, show up in the chat. We love to see you, and we think you're pretty great. So with that said, everyone, thanks for coming. Enjoy AEW.
Oh, look at this. Look at Scott
Dynasty.
I think he's talking about us.
Morning show.
I think he's talking about us. I think so.
Yeah, we're the best morning show. Bye, y'all. Have a great day. Bye.